Hey, welcome back to another episode of Instant Rom Podcast. I'm your host, Juan, and as always, my co-host here with me. Hey, Trip.
Hello.
Hey, man, there's someone kind of else with us here today, right?
I think so.
I don't know.
Not like with us, but on...
Like in spirit.
Yeah, absolutely. It's my friend Duncan. Hey, Duncan, how's it going?
Hey, how's it going, guys? I like that to introduce myself like that so people think my voice sounds like that.
Duncan doesn't really sound like... Yeah, Duncan's a real weirdo. We've been talking to him for a bit, and he's pretty nuts.
So Duncan and I met each other at Starbucks when I came back to Chico from Los Angeles. Duncan was like, oh, yeah, I know Los Angeles. What of it? And then we worked together.
And now we're here.
That was the best story.
I think that's the story,
ever
right?
heard. Like, ever. That's the best story.
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean... Starbucks people, it's kind of like a family. You all went through some fucking horrible shit together, and then you're bonded for life.
Yeah,
it's kind of how it works.
It's weird, is because when people from Starbucks like talk about Starbucks, it's like when you hear veterans talking about their experience, and you're like, Jesus, was it that serious? And it's like, it was coffee at 5 a.m., dude. And
it was fucking serious.
Are there any things that are like code that you guys use in Starbucks that only Starbucks people would know?
No.
Damn.
I mean, there are things that people would say, but it differed from store to store. Some people were like, oh, there's a cute girl, just like extra honey and stuff like that.
Ooh.
Yeah. Which is always like,
Yeah, which is always weird to me, because then I would always be the guy who's like, what are we looking at? And then the girl would be like, what are you guys looking at? And we're like, I'd ruin it. So like, I'm not very good with like being discreet because I don't hear well. So I'm always like, huh?
Totally.
So, yeah, those codes never flew with me. I don't know of any codes other than...
I don't know. People would just say shit sometimes, and you just got to be like, I'm just trying to get through the shift because I want to kill myself right now, but like, totally cool. You can do whatever you want to do.
You can do whatever you want to do. I'm just going to be over here, like, hyperventilating.
True. So, anyways, this is an anime podcast. This week we're going to be talking about Mob Psycho 100. Essentially, Duncan, we were like, "Yo, dog, what's your favorite anime right now?" Mob Psycho, easy.
Easy.
So we're going to talk about that in a bit, but first, let's get into why you first started watching anime. Like, what introduced you to it, and then what kept you watching it through the years and whatnot.
I mean, I think I have a very traditional story with anime in the sense that I grew up in the Midwest, and Dragon Ball was obviously like Toonami was like a huge deal. I remember the first manga that I got was before I saw Dragon Ball on TV, because my parents were pretty strict about the TV that we would get. But at the book fair, they had a Dragon Ball manga, and I remember I picked it up and I was like probably in 5th grade and was like, oh, this book's backwards. What? Like, so cool. And so my parents had given me money to buy a book, and I was like, it was basically a comic book, but it was with the books. And I was like, oh, I'm going to get this one. So I got that, and I really enjoyed it, obviously, and just thought it was cool. And at the time I was like young and impressionable, and I was like, oh, they're training with turtle shells, how nifty. And then I started seeing it on TV, and that kind of got me into it. I fell away from Dragon Ball, I think, when DVD started coming out, because I had the entire first Frieza saga on VHS. When you had all the VHSs, and like you put them together and it made this crazy picture.
It was a cool picture.
Yeah, it was like super hot, like this decimated planet, and then Frieza's like standing there. So I kind of got away from it at that point, and then took pretty long break just because I started doing college and then volunteering work. And then I got back into anime kind of full force around, like Brotherhood, I guess that would probably be like Full Metal Alchemist.
Sure.
That's when I started being like
2009 or 10 or something.
Yeah, that's when I started being like, oh, this is kind of interesting. And I thought that was really rad. And then Attack on Titan came out, and I was like, oh, this is really awesome. Season 1, I really liked, because I was like, oh, it's like drama. It's something I hadn't seen. And then from there, I just kind of started trickling into it. Became more accessible. That's always the thing with anime. It's like,
exactly right.
Where do I watch this? I don't want to pay for subscriptions to everything. I just want to watch it with everything else.
You just have like Toonami otherwise.
Yeah, God. And so I then, in the last 2 years, was doing like some work for an anime company who shall name nameless. It's Voldemort. And then at that point, I really dove deep into anime just so that I didn't feel like an idiot in like meetings, because they would talk about anime, and I was like, I don't even know what's happening right now. So I was like watching like My strategy for like 2 years was to watch the first and last episode of as many shows as I could.
Jesus Christ, that is an insane way to do things.
Well, because they were like a client, and I needed to be able to like stand toe to toe with them when they would talk about certain shows. They'd be like, "Oh yeah, this show." Okay. I was like, "Oh, I've seen that show." You know what I mean? But then you miss a huge.
I know everything except for all of it. So.
Yeah. So One Piece, I've watched the first episode and the most recent, and I missed like the 9,000 episodes in between.
Yeah. So your solution
I'm caught up.
Your solution to be like, is just to prove that you could go toe to toe was, I watch the beginning, that way I know where it started.
Yeah,
and then I
get to meet the characters.
And then you can be like, yeah, I know the characters, you know, Luffy, fucking whatever. And then you go, oh, and the ending, you watch the ending so you can be like, yeah, and then he fucking dies. Is that
exactly?
Is that just, what a strange strategy.
Oh, and I will say that Akira for movies for anime, I was sick a lot in high school. That was like the one movie my mom had bought me for some reason. She's like, yeah, this looked like something you'd like. So I've seen that movie rivaling the movie I've seen the most in my life, which is Spider-Man 2 by Sam Raimi. I've seen that 53 times. I can quote that movie entirely from beginning to end on mute. You don't need to test me on it. Just call Abe Chris. He'll tell you. But I've seen Akira. I've seen Akira like, I think 30 times maybe from front to back.
That's wild. First of all, Spider-Man 2 by Sam Raimi. It's probably the best Spider-Man from the trilogy, from the original trilogy. It's better than the Amazing Spider-Man with Andrew Garfield. I really like our new Spider-Man though. Homecoming was a lot of fun.
It was just fun. That's exactly.
Yeah, no, I agree. Fun. Fucking best villain too. Doc Ock was a beast.
Dude, so good in that movie. And like it was just honestly, Aunt May in that movie. Seriously, people talk about that movie.
So fucking hot. Yeah, am I right?
No. She's like a famous stage British actress. She's such a lady. I think she's a dame, like an actual dame, whatever that means, like the night version for ladies. But she has the scene where she's outside talking to Peter Parker about becoming a hero again, and she's like, sometimes we have to give up the thing we want the most, even if it means, whatever. I don't even know.
Yeah, Batman.
But it is seriously such a powerful scene. And she, to me, stands out as like one of the best actors in that movie, but it goes so underappreciated because everybody's like, yeah, Spider-Man beating people up. And I'm like, Aunt May, dude, she was crushing it.
The scene where when they're at the bank and like they're like trying to get like,
with Joel McHale.
Yeah, and they're trying to get like some sort of like a new account or whatever, and then they can't get it, and then she was like, well, at least we get the toaster, and he goes like, actually, you'll see that you get the toaster if like you open a new account with over $200.
Yeah,
and then she looks at the coupon, she was like, oh, that's right. That shit broke my heart when I was a kid. I was like,
God, that was so sad.
Give that bitch a toaster. Fuck, you got plenty of them.
She's got the scarf. She's got like the old lady scarf. That's when you've made it. When you're like old lady scarf over the top of the head, because you've got your hair done in whatever magical way that is. You're like, oh, well, I can't let the water touch it. My grandma used to do that. And I was like, wow.
Mm-hmm. My grandma still does that. Yeah. No, good call. Anyways, I mean, back to anime.
So anyhow,
actually, I don't think we've ever reviewed Akira, have we?
No.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's one
we've saved.
I don't know. I feel like that's a dangerous one.
Yeah, I think the reason. I think the reason we're saving it, or at least in my head, is because we saved Ghost in the Shell to review until the Ghost in the Shell live action came out.
If the live action comes out, I will absolutely compare them.
So we want the live action Akira to come out, fucking feet starring Zac Efron, and then we can just shit on it.
Wait, is it really gonna have? Wait, what? No, I was like, what?
Okay,
I was about to lose my mind. Podcast over. I'm done.
I will say that at one point there were rumors that Zac Efron and I think Jared Leto or Jake Gyllenhaal or
Jesus Christ,
one of them was supposed to be in the talks of being Akira, and then the fucking big brain homie.
But now it's the actor who plays young Sheldon. So
oh my God, okay, I don't even know what to do with that information. Really quick, my only Akira anecdote is one time I worked at a sushi restaurant for like 3 years. Chris, you knew this in Northern California. And there was a sushi chef who I hadn't met out of all the sushi chefs. And we had a party and he came. And I'd always seen his name, but like I'm not very smart, so I didn't know how to read it. And I'd always seen his name on the schedule. And he shows up and, he's like, hi, my name's Tetsuya. And I was like, backed away and was like, Tetsuya! and just like screamed it. And he's like, yeah, it's great.
Yeah, he's like, yeah, fucking cool. As he like takes a drink out of his flask, he's like, fuck this shit, man. I'm fucking ruining my name.
He didn't think it was fun. We became friends because,
but he was not down with the intro.
But in that first introduction, it didn't go well, and I always will remember it as like a soft spot.
Well, at least you know your faults. At least you know that you fucked up.
Yeah, I know the fault in my stars.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Well, cool, man. I mean, I think that's funny. The book fair, huh? Do you remember book fairs? Like, I remember, they would come to the school.
We don't need to talk about that. Just go watch Nikki Jakey's video on book fairs, the scholastic book fairs after school. Video games, I Spy books, Guinness World Records. You're fucking good to go, man.
I always get bookmarks.
Did you reference? I got so lost in what you said. Did you just reference a video that explains book fairs?
Yeah.
No, a specific one that's a nostalgic fucking bringing it up from the roots. Like, hey, remember when we were kids and you fucking live out in the middle of goddamn nowhere? Cows,
send me that.
But then boom,
I want to watch it.
Oh no, just look up Nikki Jakey. Everything he has is gold.
You'd get the pizza.
Oh fuck, yeah, you would.
I don't know if you knew this, Duncan, but we're cultured as fuck over here at the Insaran podcast.
It's true because we don't do anything, so we're just like
that's what cultured people are. They're just they're people who don't do anything because they're cultured.
Just lazy pieces of shit,
which is for sure what we are. Cool, man. So what else can we talk about besides the fact that you like anime?
That was it. Well, I mean, it blows my mind that you actually remember the first manga that you got. Yeah. For me, I don't know, because I didn't read anything at school. I don't think I read any mangas through like school, but I knew that you could get them at the library. Mm-hmm. I think after I watched Fooly Cooly, I went and I was like, oh wait, they have a manga of this? And then I got them, and it was just 2 mangas, and it was very different than the show. And I was like, that was cool. That was neat. Now I know things.
Oh man, I don't even know when that what you just described, that first experience of seeing something you love that's different in a different medium. I do not remember the first sensation because I probably blacked out. I probably saw something that was like not what I wanted it to be, and was just. But I grew up in comic books. I loved comic books. To this day just obsess over comics. And so when I saw that manga in the book fair, it was like my dirty secret, because I think in 5th grade was the first year that the Harry Potter book got released. I don't know that for sure, but I remember there was a really popular book out at the time, and I was like, yo, fuck that. I'm getting this weird ass Japanese comic book thing. And somebody else had to tell me like, it's a manga. And I was like, whatever, I don't care. I'm getting it. My mom gave me $10, so.
And this only costs $7. That means I can buy $3 worth of fucking bookmarks. Yeah, I get what you're saying.
Or like big erasers. Those were
the erasers were cool.
Yeah,
big erasers were nice.
You could also get those pencils, which are like swirly pencils.
Dude, shut the fuck up! You're blowing my mind.
Yeah.
God,
those were simpler. Those were simpler times.
Yeah, it was a different.
Those were great times.
Yeah.
I use a gel pen at work, but it turns out they make like legit gel pens.
You have a gel pen? Do they make those still?
It's different. It's like it's called a gel pen, but it's not like a sparkly, fun colored gel pen. It's just like gel ink stuff.
It's professional.
And it's really fucking.
Oh, it's like adult gel? That sounds terrible.
It's great. They cost like $4 for a pen.
What?
And my boss bought 4 of them because she was like, these are going to be a great investment. And then immediately was like, I fucking hate these. And I'm like, I will take them. They're much better than our pens.
No, do you hear this right now? This is a Madison Bear Garden pen. I have it. Shit. It's like I've had it forever, but my little brother was a door guy there and gave me like 100 of these pens. I love these pens. I have so many in my bedroom, and it's just like, hungry? Madison Bear Garden, 2nd Street. And so like I always have these pens, and people are like, where'd you get this pen? I'm like, from a cool bar that you can't go to. It's in Northern California.
You're not allowed.
You go keep the pen, and then you go, nah, give it back. Fuckhead. It's my pen.
No, seriously, give it back. It was expensive.
Oh man, I think the first manga I read was it was for sure, and I'm not ashamed of this. Was for sure Naruto.
Nice.
That was the for sure manga.
No,
and I for sure didn't buy them because I was very poor Mexican growing up. Mm-hmm. So I read them illegally on like Manga Fox or something like that.
Yeah.
Wait, like how old are you? Because like
me, I'm 25.
Okay, so I'm 32. So I was poor in the late 80s, early 90s, and then my mom met my stepdad, and that guy is like the P Diddy of our family, and he just came in and he was like, "Bad boys for life," and he like bought us all the stuff. That's why I got the manga, and he's like, "Yo, here's $10," and I was like, "This guy's a straight gangster." But before that,
this guy works for the mafia. This guy's a hitman.
I remember being at like the comic book store and getting kicked out because they were like, "You're never gonna buy anything," and I can remember like just like the heartbreak inside of me being like, I'll never be able to afford anything. Like, it's just like the Skybox cards from 93 just being like, I just want one pack. They're 50 cents. If I can find 50 pennies, I could buy those comic book cards. But by the time I got into manga, that was 5th grade. I was pretty much like living the dream. Like, I was on boats and stuff. I had boat shoes. So
you had boat I mean, I've had boat shoes.
Never had a boat.
I definitely didn't wear them on any boats.
Yeah, never had a boat, actually. My dad's very frugal, so I make it sound like he had money. But like, we had money, but he'd always be like, here's $10, and now I expect 5 hours of chores.
That's funny. It's a very similar fucking story like to mine. Yeah, my family was poor, and then my mom was still married to my dad, and we didn't have a stepfather, so we were just poor for a long time. And then they worked really hard. And then
you gotta get yourself a stepdad, dude.
Mom should have got a stepdad. That would have been cool. That didn't happen though.
I think your dad would have been fine with it too. Just like, yeah, more money, sure,
you
whatever.
Pay for these kids, I don't give a fuck. Yeah, so I would read it like at the library on the websites, and the dubs were shit, and some of this like the scanning, like the printings, because they would scan them, were just like off or whatever.
Yeah,
and I don't think I've ever bought actual manga though. I know you do. Trip buys manga now.
I'm just envisioning like Juan at a library, like with that, like in those shows where they're like, we have to go do research, and they're like looking at the old newspaper clippings and whatever that machine is that they're and it's just like manga somehow on those, and you're just like reading them in that. Like it's an old murder mystery from 1964.
I know what you're talking about. Those still exist. I did go see one, I think, a couple years ago to look for something for like a paper at school. And I was like flicking through it. It was the weirdest thing. And I found a newspaper article, and it was like grand opening of fucking Egg Roll King here in Chico or whatever. And like, and it was something like, it was just like a very like, fresh take on, Chinese American food, fresh ingredients, loving fucking hospitality. I was like, fuck this place. This place has gone downhill in the fucking last 30 years it's been open.
They've had the same fish the whole time.
The last 30 years it's been open. Oh my God. That's the best way to describe anything. Yeah, this thing has been terrible for the last 10 years it's been there. That's a huge amount of time to be terrible. I've never been to the Egg Roll King because it looks sketch. For your listeners, it looks like a brothel.
Also, I would definitely eat there because I have.
It's very the food was pretty good, but it was really sketchy.
So, do we call you Trip or Chris? Because I always called you Chris. Or Burger King is what I have you in my phone as.
Yeah, I'm Burger King in your phone. But which I respect. Burgers are like my persona, so I'm down with it.
You're shaped like a burger, yes.
But most people call me Chris. Juan calls me Trip. He started calling me Trip in high school.
Oh, so it's your Juan thing. I gotta.
Yeah, it's pretty much my Juan thing.
I mean, some people call him that. And I think,
name one that isn't your friend.
I know what I was trying to say is people who call you that are people that I introduce you as Trip.
One friend. You made it sound like Juan has one friend.
One friend.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you were like, name somebody who's not your friend.
No, like all my classmates call him Trip. Because I go.
They also listen to the podcast, for sure, though, which makes it violently difficult to not call somebody by the name that they address themselves.
And then Sierra,
I'm just like, hey man, I'm Chris, and they're like, oh Trip, it's good to meet you. Yeah. I'm like, all right, cool.
And then Sierra sometimes calls you Trip.
She flip flops. I mean, even as a roommate, she doesn't figure out what to call me.
I don't see the big issue, man. I like your nickname.
I was just curious for the
logistics. Yeah, no, you call whenever he wants.
I'm just saying, like, when it was yours, and then it became mine somehow.
And then when he, like, even when you say bye at the end of the podcast, you go, "This is bye from Chris." Like, you call yourself Chris, and I go, "Fuck that, you're Trip."
Yeah, you can call me Trip all you want. That's cool. That's like,
but that's not who you are. Yeah.
But man, like, I just don't feel like a Trip. But if people call me a Trip, like, that's dope.
New nickname for Trip. It's just Hamburger. That's it. It's our boy.
I'm cool with it. I would prefer Cheeseburger, but I'll work there.
Oh, I already know. I already know Cheeseburger. You can't be Cheeseburger.
You know Cheeseburger?
Yeah, I already know Cheeseburger.
Who the fuck is Cheeseburger?
He's a bartender at the Banshee.
Should I kick his ass?
He's way bigger than you.
Should I kick his ass?
You could try.
Should I eat his ass?
You should.
I'm gonna eat his ass.
He's way big. I saw him the other day. Last week, he was like, "Hey man, what's up, Cheeseburger?" He goes like, "Hey, call me Cheese." I was like, "Okay, cool."
Damn, you guys got
that's a really cool thing to say to somebody. Out of context, sounds really weird, but
he was hella drunk, and I think he was also on shrooms. He's just having a great time.
Jesus, that guy sounds intense.
Yeah,
you know what? He can be Cheeseburger. I don't want that. That's too much pressure. I don't want to do shrooms and get drunk ever.
Yeah, no, sounds like a bad time.
That's a mix of things I don't want to ever mix.
For sure.
Terrifying.
Well, now that we're done talking about shrooms and nicknames and...
Oh, we were done with that?
Yeah, we're done with that. We have to talk about other things.
Name one other thing
Anime,
we have to talk about.
Or manga.
Yeah.
Or Duncan. We could talk more about Duncan.
I enjoy all of those things.
I also enjoy 2 out of 3 of those things.
How do you
True.
how would you say like you would you describe yourself as like a person who likes anime? Like, are you like a weekend warrior kind of guy?
Yeah.
Are
How
you
casual or hard do you go?
I know you just told us you were wearing like your Dragon Ball Z hoodie and a fucking fruit basket shirt or some shit like that.
A fruit basket shirt? No,
yes. What was it?
I'm wearing my fruit basket shirt.
Cowboy Bebop's. Yeah.
No, Cowboy Bebop's legit. It's like super awesome. It's a noir. It's like I love that. So I will never knock Cowboy Bebop. Yeah, it's obviously a safe bet. If you ask somebody what their favorite anime is and they say Cowboy Bebop, that they don't know a lot about anime because they're just trying not to piss you off. But they know enough that you'll get pissed if you don't say the right thing. So that's fair.
Yeah.
No, I'm wearing this because it's like it's brightly colored. I walk my dog at night. You put me on blast about it. But I don't know if I'd say I'm a weekend warrior. I'm obsessed with seeing every episode of Mob. My Hero Academia is actually really interesting for me because that was the first anime show outside of Dragon Ball when I was a teenager that somebody was like, yeah, you should watch this. It's really good. And then it became like episodic watching where I was like watching it every week with anime. I've never done that before. I've always been like, yeah, I'll wait until the season's over and I'll watch the whole thing. Like, who cares? But like My Hero,
you hit a certain point where,
but then like, for me, it's more so that I'm just not smart enough to know what is good anime. And I get like this anxiety, this like crushing anxiety about investing time into a show or like a video game even where I'm like, I don't like this, or like, you know what I mean? Like,
have you talked to Abe about that?
Yeah, we have. And he told me that you feel this way. And I was like, yo, dude, it makes me like, I'll like spend hours on Netflix just scrolling through things and be like, I can't watch anything. Yeah. I don't know. Somebody said it was good, but what if it's not? Then I wasted like 6 hours of my day. And then it's
That's true.
Midnight.
I mean,
so for anime, I need suggestions, but I'm always open to suggestions. Like somebody suggested Mob Psycho to me, and that's why I started watching it. And I was like, dude, this is fucking, I love this. I just think it's so
You should watch
weird.
The Promised Neverland.
Yeah, that's
I heard you guys talking about that a couple of episodes ago, and I remember being like, it has the word Neverland in it, so I'm going to avoid it for a couple of weeks until that documentary kind of dies down. But
yeah, that's true.
I've been like, God, I just started my Crunchyroll subscription. Yay! They're not sponsored.
Oh, you popped the cherry. Look at this guy.
Shout out to the Crunch.
Yeah, but they were. It's because they kept giving me commercials for sword art. And like I'm gonna stab my eye out. That looks so bad. I don't care what. So like I don't like that. So Weekend Warrior, like you're asking me, I'm probably all the bad things that anime fans can be. Like there's like the argument about dubs and subs. I have a very strong opinion about that most people don't agree with. So
let's hear it. Let's go because let's
dissect about this a good amount.
What are your thoughts on dubs and subs?
I'm all dubs, and the reason is that like people who listen to subs are stupid, and this is what I will say to that is like, do you speak Japanese? And they'll be like, no, I read it. And I'm like, all right, cool. So 90% of the show is the visual, and then you're reading it. And sometimes the subs don't match up, and you kind of like miss a sentence, and you're like, well, I have to go on because it's just moving on. Whereas like when I'm listening to a dub, my dog might do something. I could look out a window. I live in Los Angeles. Somebody could break into my house at any time. I got to be able to look away from the screen every now and then. I don't want to have to feel like I'm reading a book. I'm trying to watch a show. I love the Japanese voice actors. They're super talented, but I don't speak Japanese. I want it dubbed. I'm sorry. And actually, I'm not sorry.
I think it's funny because you did start when we called you on Discord. You said, I'm in LA, living the dream or whatever. It sounds like you're not living. It sounds like you're barely surviving out there.
Nobody lives in LA.
No, but I always tell people, I'm like, well, nightmares are dreams too, right? Awkward silence, just like, oh damn.
No, sorry, Duncan. That was something on our end.
To be real with you, you've been cutting out like nonstop on our end,
so we're like,
we follow like most of it. But at that point, it was just us looking at each other.
It was like
I'm so excited to listen to whatever the fuck you just said.
I can't wait to hear what you said on our podcast.
I don't want you to repeat it, but I definitely want to feel that impact of the pause.
Well, here, I'm going to tell you about my opinion.
The pause was so intense. I was like, damn, Jesus Christ.
They hung up on me. No, I'm going to tell you. So my opinion on dubs and subs is I agree. Also, I like dubs. I think they're really useful because they do give you the opportunity to see all the animation or whatever, you know. I'm not the fastest reader, so subs were always kind of an issue. But because I watch a lot of subs and I want to watch things now and not wait for the dubs, you know, I got better at it. So I can see things. I can pick up the words a lot faster. Okay, I'm not gonna wait. I'm not gonna wait. You know, months or whatever year? It is. No. Yeah, it's for something to come out. Jesus. I mean, Simuldub has done a lot better recently. You wait like a couple weeks, which is nice. But the argument that it's that the sub is sometimes bad, I don't know if that's true because I've been watching The Shield Hero.
Yeah.
And they just dropped their dub on Crunchyroll, which is like a big deal. And I started playing it, like the episode I was watching, and I was like, the dub started, and I was like, what the fuck is this? That something felt kind of off. And I was like, oh, it's the dub. I gave it like a couple minutes, and I was like, I'm gonna go back to the sub. And the conversation was completely different. Like what they had dubbed and sub is not the same thing.
They have to change them sometimes
because they won't match up or whatever. So it feels more true to stay to the sub.
That's also what's irritating is that when I worked at the Japanese restaurant, I picked up on very light Japanese, right? Just like very conversational Japanese. And like 90% of what I know is often misrepresented in anime because like I learned swear words first. So I often will hear the swear word in, that's like the testament of like whatever I do when I start at a place. I'm like, well, learn the swear words.
Teach me the bad words. Yeah. You start working at Teach me the bad words.
Yeah, but they will always have like these weird kind of like I don't know, like not narration, definition. Gosh, you know when you struggle for a word and you're like, I know that word really well.
That's like every day of my life.
Translation. Translation. There we go. Yeah. The translation's off. Like bakado. Bakado is like a word that we don't have a word for in English, and it essentially, from what I understand, translates to like being mentally handicapped with no honor. Because that's like a super serious insult, right? Like you have like no honor and you're mentally handicapped. All time. But like they will often use it in anime as like shit or damn it or you're dumb. And I'm like, I always hear it. It sticks out like a sore thumb. And every time I see the translation, I'm like, that's not okay, cool. That's not even close.
I do like that they have certain like so is one that I feel like everybody knows, and it means like damn it or fuck or shit or darn, and it's just like this really encapsulating like this shit sucks and I'm gonna swear about it.
I love that.
Essentially, I like that one a lot because it always has a different translation, and depending on like what kind of tone the show has, it'll change, and I love that.
I love oh no is like oh no, and I started hearing that in anime, and I was like, I know what that means. It means
Yeah,
I think Trip. I mean, he's better at this than I am. I've never taken any form of formal education for Japanese, right?
Yeah.
But there's times like a show will start, and then Trip goes, "Man, they fucked that up," and I go, "What are you talking about?" Because be like, "Yeah, they used the wrong, fucking." It's especially for dubs that aren't like. For the stuff that we get like illegally, essentially, like all those live action movies that we watch, because it's like not dubbed for like on the actual DVD, it's like some fucking shithead doing it.
Yeah,
Trip usually picks that up. But honestly, for most shows, if the sub is solid, Trip won't say anything like that. Trip will be like, no, they fucking killed it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know pretty much any Japanese. I took a year of Japanese,
which is more than what I took.
Yeah. So I just know like arigato, hey. I just know like little things here and there, and from that being able to, because anime, I feel like there aren't that many shows that use a lot of sophisticated language. For the most part, it's like very rudimentary for most conversations. You can pick up like little pieces here and there.
Well, yeah, anime's fucking garbage culture, dog. What are you talking about right here? We know who we are.
If we're talking about Rascal Does Not Dream of Bunny Girl, that's fucking incredible. That dialogue is insane. But if we're talking about something that's more simple, like Mob, for example, you're not going to know some of the like psychic shit. Like you're not going to pick up on those words, but you clearly going to pick up on like, oh yeah, Mob's running after school at the club today. That's a normal ass thing to say when you're learning Japanese.
The standard ones that stand out to me are like deska, which is like question mark. You put it at the end of a question, and then like onegaishimasu, like doitashimashite, and then like oyasumi no sai. And I'm like, all right, cool. I know what all of those mean. Hey, how are you?
I've heard all of those. I don't know what any of those mean.
Hey, how are you? Words. Could you please do this for me and enjoy bed? Basically, is what like oyasumi no sai means, but it's like good night. You know what I mean? But it like basically translates to like enjoy your bed. which is
maybe that's Japan's fault. Maybe they shouldn't be so fucking dumb. Dude, and they should say goodnight as opposed to enjoy your bed.
Japan's language is like seriously fucked. I tried to learn it when I was doing the Japanese, when I was working at the Japanese restaurant. Sushi, yeah. And when I got to counting, that's like the second or third thing. You're like, hello, fuck, and then you learn how to count, right? Right into like trying to learn how to count in Japanese. I was like, nope, fuck this. It's too complicated. They have like a system for counting different things. So like there are different numbers for like something that's flat.
It's only it's for 4 and 7. Those are the fucked up ones because apparently one of them means death and the other one sometimes
means I love you. Yeah. Huge discrepancy or some shit.
It's 4 or death. And they're like, oh no, we do not say
we
death.
Skip 4. We know it's there, but we don't say it. Yeah.
And then
it's like the 13th floor.
Yeah, exactly. And number 7, they, for whatever reason, when phones came around, that's when they started changing the way that they said 7 because it was coming through clearer over the phone. So it's Nana, which I also fucking love. Like that banana? 7 is Nana. Yeah,
yeah,
like
it's none of your business.
Yeah, get the fuck out of here.
Talking on banana phone, and that's how you remember it all. It's easy.
Banana phone.
Well, I think it's okay for you to have your opinion on the fact that you apparently love dubs and think subs are for stupid people.
Yeah, I really enjoyed that you said the brave thing too, which is like I don't read very fast. Like
I don't. No, I don't.
I don't really, either. It's like
I don't read very good either.
Yeah. Meanwhile, I'm just on Reddit all day, so I just shotgun things into my face. I'm like more. I just skim super fast. So then when I'm watching anime, I'm able to keep up with it. So it works out.
No, yeah.
So like I can do that kind of reading really quick because my job is like a lot of reading really fast. Yeah. But when I'm trying to watch a show, it's like I'm also trying to see the scene, and that's what's like hard for me because I'm like, sometimes I get a little like a little mixed up, and I'm like,
I totally get it.
I have no shame in my game. If I miss something, especially in comedies, like any anime that's a comedy, there's a lot of jokes coming in from different times and people saying different things. Yeah, I'll just like fuck, I gotta pause this bitch and figure out what the hell's going on here. Yeah,
honestly, I do that all the time, and that's why I hate Crunchyroll on the Xbox because like Xbox Crunchyroll app is like. Did you want it to be trash? Did you make it trash on purpose?
The PlayStation 1 too. Yeah, it's not that good.
It's fucking horrible. So everyone starts out with dubs. Like everyone fucking watches that. Yeah, they see it on Toonami or wherever the fuck. It's dubbed. It's great. You're like absorbing in whatever this new fucking source of media is. It's great. But then when it comes down to, I'm gonna watch some new shit that like nobody knows about. That's when you have to start reading subs.
Reading the subs, yeah. And that's really fun is because with Mob, I did dubbed for season 1, and then I only have done subbed titled for season 2, and I've been like, whoa, this is interesting. But yeah, I mean, I enjoy them both, I guess, because I just enjoy the show. So I guess at the end of the day, like if I like the show enough, it wouldn't really matter.
Yeah, it doesn't really.
I think I missed it. Did you say that you watched the first season dubbed?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. No, I watched the first season subbed, and then when it like a few months later, I wanted to see it again, and I saw that the dub was out, and then I watched it dubbed. I enjoyed both of them. Just the same.
Yeah.
They do a really good job with whoever the casted is voice acting. I don't know. I mean, I don't think I know many voice actors' names.
Yeah, true. Like he's in there. Like he's in everything, and like honestly, he can do.
Is that the Trigun guy?
No,
who's that?
What?
That's Crispin Freeman.
Oh, well, sorry for fucking not knowing.
Young Midoriya. Like Piccolo, the best dad ever in anime. Come on.
No, okay. So I mean, now that we've settled dubbed and subbed, I want to talk to you real quick about. You said something about My Hero. You were saying that that's like the first show in a while that people have been kind of hyping up, and you kind of been watching episodically, right?
Yeah.
Well, I think it's interesting because like I obviously grew up. The first show I watched was something called Ultimate Muscle. Have you ever seen that? Have you ever seen a show called Ultimate Muscle?
Don't know that. That's like normally I'll know the show kind of, but I've never even heard of that.
It was back when there's like still Saturday morning cartoons on like Fox Box or Fox for Kids or some shit like that. But then after that, it was just all shonen essentially. Like I started watching Naruto, saw some Dragon Ball, stuff like that. But I remember Trip talking about like he obviously didn't watch those kind of shows. Like he watched.
I watched Digimon. Serially.
But then he watched like the first show that was a shonen.
Muscle.
Yeah. Oh, dude, it's the best fucking show.
I remember commercials for this, but I never saw it. But I know what it is. Yeah.
No, I for sure. I mean, I know that show doesn't hold up. It's nostalgic as fuck. I love the shit of the show. But yeah, so Trip had this feeling about like that this is like a fucking My Hero is this shonen, this modern day shonen that's doing everything right, and like it's the next big thing. You know, they always argue about the big three, right? They always like
it's fucking obvious that it's My Hero Academia. There's not a single show that's more watched, more talked about, more like weekly hyped than My Hero.
Oh yeah,
I mean, trends on Twitter fucking nonstop whenever it's airing.
Can I chime in as to why I think that is?
Yeah, for sure.
So like I think like anime, sometimes the US culture like looks at anime and says to like ourselves like, oh, it's a cartoon, or it's like it's supposed to be kind of like a story, and then they think to themselves like, okay, either Saturday morning cartoons or comic books, right? But anime's not really like that. Anime is like almost like just standard television, but it's an animated version of it, if you will. I know that people are like, it's not animated, it's anime. But with My Hero, I think it kind of crosses that line where it feels kind of very comic booky. And so it's easy for like Americans to digest. Cause I know like for me, I got into it and I was like, oh dude, this reminds me of like comic books. This is awesome. Like, and also Deku's not like a huge bitch. I really hate like this thing in anime where like everybody's like, yeah, let's make them cry. What are we going to do next week? Make them cry. Just make them cry. Make everybody cry. Everybody's going to cry next episode.
Yeah.
And you like Mob Psycho 100?
Yeah,
I do like that show. Come on, dude. Mob's awesome.
No, Mob is awesome. No, okay. Fucking, of course, My Hero is perfect. You know why? Because they stole the best piece of cinema from, the fucking West. It's just Sky High, but anime, dog. That's what they did. They fucking stole Sky High.
Oh my god! I never saw that, but I know exactly what you're talking about. And I'm like, is that the best?
My Hero is for sure solid, and it is. I mean, fucking the West is just enamored and fucking saturated with this. Superhero culture because of Marvel and DC stuff. So it makes sense for My Hero to be so popular.
Marvel, like mainly Marvel.
People still like DC as much as people like are still diehard fans. I'm not a fan of any of their movies. I don't think I've seen a good one yet.
Well, Batman
for DC,
Dark Knight, that was pretty good.
Yeah, those are good. But I'm saying like the new stuff, like the newer ones. You know, you got your fucking Suicide Squad, the most recent ones.
Did you see Aquaman?
No, I didn't, but that's because I didn't want to get a headache. Apparently, it was just a bunch of color. We just got done. We watched Captain Marvel, but that's Marvel, right? Yeah, that's Marvel. Yeah. No, so what I'm saying is that it makes sense for the West to really quickly jump onto My Hero so quickly.
I mean, and I like it a lot. I just I find it to be kind of lighthearted, but also serious, good animation, and they hit all like the technical standpoints of the animation, where it's like it's not always super fancy. Like things like when like Akira, for example, would be like mind-boggling. You know what I mean? Where you're like, what?
Sure,
you know, like, and even things like with like One Punch Man, which I hear a lot of people talk about that actually, and that's how I get people into Mob. I'm like, oh, like One Punch Man, Mob, it's like the same guy, and man, those they do like kind of trippy, cool stuff with animation, which I really like. But like My Hero kind of does it different, where they're like, no, we're gonna do anime, but we're gonna hit the technical standpoints where like the scenes are done right, the voice acting is done right, we're gonna do character arc kind of right. I mean, I don't know,
I mean, it's from Studio Bones, and they fucking crush it. They're the same studio that does Mob Psycho 100. Yeah. And the animation every single time, like since My Hero's been going on and we've been doing the podcast, we always have our like anime of the year versus Crunchyroll, like our opinions versus theirs. And it comes down to like best animation is My Hero Academia almost every time.
Always,
because it's so fucking clean and the fights are incredible. And when they're not fighting, it's just clean as fuck. It looks beautiful. The color palettes are great. The character designs are great. The animations are fantastic. They just crush it.
Yeah.
Not only that, but like I love the character, like internal struggle of like just when they're like, oh, you know, you have the class president, and I'm terrible with like the names in anime characters. I'm always like, yeah, the class president, where he's like, no, don't do this, but then he goes after his brother's like, you know, like assailant.
He goes through it a lot.
Yeah, and like that to me is so powerful, and it's one of the things where I'm like, anime is not just for kids, and that's like one of the things that I always find myself kind of like trying to explain anime to either my family or to like friends who aren't into it, and I'm like, no, like you invest in this show and you'll like understand it's really good.
Totally.
But there's that being said, there's shows like, you know, I don't know, Bleach. What is that weird volleyball show where the girls are on the planet and they battle volleyball status?
I love that show.
That's just like pure fan service. There are shows like
is that the butt one? Is he talking about
Keijo?
Keijo, yeah. And that's I think
that's ass people, and tits for fucking
people
fighting.
think that is what anime is. And I'm like, did you realize
that's what the best anime is? Fucking Duncan,
but that show's a satire though. It's like
it's
and nobody
they
gets
have an attack called Attack on Titan. It's clearly a satire.
No, I watched the show after it was all done airing. I was like, this show, it's for sure has its its merits or whatever.
Yeah, no, it holds strong and true. I watch it every night.
But you have to be a fan of anime to understand something like that. Like you can't just be like, hey man, check out this weird show. People are like, no, what's wrong with you?
And we've done a couple episodes. I don't know. I don't know, man. But we've done a couple of episodes that are like, what are some good introductory animes to watch? Or like anytime that there is an anime that would be a great introduction, we say like, yeah, if you're trying to show somebody something, show them this. This is a great example of anime without being too intimidating.
Which what would you say is like that?
Erased. It's always erased.
It's erased.
Erased. I've never even heard.
Duncan, you ever seen Erased?
Don't look up anything about it.
Just look. It's on Hulu. I'm pretty sure.
It's on Hulu. It's on I think Netflix now too.
Really?
Yeah. It's on Crunchyroll. It's fucking incredible. I'll tell you the very beginning because I'm
gonna watch the first and the last episode tonight.
Duncan, I swear to fucking God, if you watch the last episode of this fucking show.
It's like 12 episodes. It's 12 episodes long or something. You want to keep watching the intro every time. That's an important thing because it shows up later.
Good music too. Incredible music.
It's a thriller mystery, so you're trying to figure out who done it.
Yeah, I'm down. Like that's it right there. I'm down.
But it also has a little bit of time travel, butterfly effect, little back and forth. Am I going to fix everyone dying or not?
It's starring Ashton Kutcher is what we're saying. It's like it's a perfect anime. I was going to just talk to him about that. Richard, yes. So whenever you try to recommend anime to somebody for the first time, it's usually best to avoid shows that have those huge tropes because
you do not
anime tropes are the hardest thing. That's the easiest thing to scare people with, because something happens and some fucking dumbass sees some chick with big tits and then he starts blowing blood out his nose and people are just like, what is this? And they're like, well, you don't get it. You just don't understand the culture. Yeah, exactly.
But it's hilarious to me. Like those scenes to me when I was a kid, I was like, that's how I feel. Like, cause I didn't really understand what that was when I was younger. But I would always say like, for me, when people ask me that, I'm like, I guess like, I don't know, what kind of movies do you like? And then try to figure that out. But I've always said that like Full Metal Alchemist is like kind of dramatic, but I really like that show. And that's always the show that I kind of recommend. Cause I'm this is
Full Metal Alchemist is the first one.
Introduction.
It's for sure good. It's just the issue is that like Brotherhood is just so much better than the original one.
Thank you. What
it is?
I swear to get. Why do people say that the original is better? And I'm like, the ending is totally terrible.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Well, it's because the reason why Duncan is because they didn't have enough source material for the manga at that point, so they had to finish the anime. They started the anime before they should have. But the issue with that is the first one is good. The second one is better, but there's way more tropes in it. So it's also it's a lot bigger, so it's a lot more daunting. So what you want to do is you want to recommend shows that are short, essentially, like 12 episodes, 24 at the most.
12 to 24 is perfect.
And then you also want to avoid things that have like too many tropes. Like we were just talking a while back about like your coworker's cousin was trying to get her into anime. So he's like. So he recommended a show and they sat down and watched it together and they watched Is It Wrong to Pick Up Girls in a Dungeon? Which is the worst fucking show to watch with your fucking girl cousin.
Jesus. I don't even know that show, but like the title alone, I'm just like, solid.
Yeah, nice. I know it's etchy as fuck, and I like that show. I mean, I have no problem with saying I like that show.
Amazing animation.
But the issue is like, why would you try to get your girl cousin get into anime with this? Like, this is how you're gonna fucking entrap her. Let her discover the dark side of anime by herself.
Oh my god, it just doesn't make sense.
That I always, I don't know if this is technically anime, but I always say Afro Samurai. I really love Afro Samurai. This is fucking so rad.
Yeah, we watched it.
Yeah, Afro Samurai is fucking dope. Samurai Champloo is for sure a better version of Afro Samurai, though. If you've ever seen that,
really? I know. I mean, I haven't seen it, but I know what it is. But I didn't know it was a better version. I mean, Samuel Jackson.
Fuck, dude.
You poor thing, Duncan. You know nothing about anime.
I don't. I've seen Kill la Kill.
See, that's a good ecchi kind of parody that ties into the story, and they make it work.
But if you make that the first anime someone watches, they're gonna run for the hills.
I'm gonna suggest like Manga's Bride. Just be like, yo, watch this weird Beauty and the Beast like with weird rapey undertones or Citrus or something like that, and just be like,
go watch Citrus. Jesus Christ.
That's the show from now on. that I will recommend. Or no, One Piece. That's what I always say to people I don't want to talk to me anymore. I'm like, just start watching One Piece. It's only like 20 episodes.
What
and
else
then they go find out it's like 9,000.
My Sister, My Writer, right?
My Sister, My Writer.
All you need is
Arrow Manga Sensei.
All you need is a Sister's All You Need. These are all shows that our friend Kyle has reviewed because they're the worst shows of the season.
Yeah. Do you remember Kyle Meyer?
Yeah, of course, dude.
Yeah. Okay. Good.
I remember his sister Lindsay.
Yeah,
she would come into the sushi place. No, because she would come into the sushi place a lot, and I remember being like, I think I know this person, but I never did. And then one time she came in with Kyle, and I was like, man, it's probably Kyle's girlfriend, and I met her, and then I was like, no, you guys look alike, and that was the end of that story. I remember Kyle.
So Kyle has kind of made it his job where every season he'll do his garbage corner. Well, he'll just talk about the worst show of the season.
Well, what happened first was we committed to watching every anime that's going to come out during the season that we can get our hands on. So usually just Crunchyroll shit, and then if it's on Amazon, if it's on Hulu, dope. Usually we wouldn't go further until recently to like High Dive and Verve and whatnot. Anyways, I would sit down and I would be watching all this, and Kyle hits me up like, hey man, what are you doing? You want to hang out? Like, no man, I have to watch a ton of really bad anime and a couple of good ones, but I don't know what it's going to be. So then he would come over and he would join me, and he had just a fucking blast watching them. And then after our first season of sitting down and doing all of that, he decided, I want to commit to one of those terrible shows. I want to watch all of it. I want to go on that journey.
He wants to understand why the shows are being made, and it's because there's weird people out there like that shit. And Kyle just like gives the best description of these terrible shows, and that's one of my favorite shows, like episodes that we come out with every season or whatever. It's Kyle's garbage corner. He just sits there and goes like, holy shit, let me explain to you what I watched.
Let me explain to you why Ghost Stories is terrible or something like that.
We tried to watch Ghost Stories.
I did watch it. I watched a lot of it while playing Nier Automata.
Oh yeah, you did.
Oh my
it was
God.
great.
Let's see. Okay, this is another thing I want to do. You just want to name animes just to Duncan to see if he's seen them.
Yeah. One Punch Man.
Oh yeah.
Okay, good.
My Hero Academia.
Yes.
Mob Psycho 100.
Yeah.
I've named all of them. I don't know anymore.
Have you seen Death Note?
Yes. Live action and anime.
Oh, nice. Big boy over here.
Which live action? The movies or the show?
The Netflix one that was terrible. I was like, what is this? And by the way, I've seen the Mob Psycho. I've seen the Mob Psycho live action on Netflix.
We also did, yeah.
I was like, this would be cool. And I was like, oh my God. Like,
It's not the worst live action in the world.
It's not terrible.
Forgot about
it's not
that
terrible,
too.
but it's forgettable. That's exactly what it is. It's forgettable.
Yeah, for sure. What else did I want to see? I mean, since you haven't seen Erased, you said.
Reagan looked pretty good in that, though. Like, for what they had to do, he looked like, a little bit skeezy,
but Mob looked like he was like 40. I was like, well, who is this 40? Actor? What?
He was 40.
In the comics? He's like an 8th grader.
No, he's 40, but he got held back like 100 years.
That's what happened to your Esper.
Yeah, sure.
And you said you haven't seen Erased, right?
No.
Are you caught up with Attack on Titan?
I stopped at the end of season 2 because I was like, I can't take it anymore. This show is so dramatic, and like everybody's like, it's really intense, and I want to be entertained. It's like there are some shows, even like just standard TV shows, right, where I'm like, it's too much. And Attack on Titan, I was like, I'm a little stressed. I'm not relaxed. I'm not having a good time anymore. I don't want to watch this show.
You're so invested that you're just like, nope.
Yeah, and it's not because it's bad. It's just because I was like, this is stressing me out now. The show is starting. I'm stressed right now, so I don't want to watch anymore. So I got to 1 and 2, and then I was done.
What about Made in Abyss?
Oh, no.
That one's really good. That's a solid fucking show.
I thought you were going to say Yuri on Ice.
I also saw Yuri on Ice. I enjoyed it. I like Gay Boys on Skates.
I think it's really a powerful thing to see in the anime like that's doing that, because the anime community can be a little...
we've talked about this a little bit.
It's weird that like, the animes for some reason like they like put up a lot of like gay undertones and things, but culturally Japan is very anti, homosexual. So it's like, what are you doing, guys? Just be cool with being gay,
just be cool. Yeah. That's I want you to go to like Japanese parliament and then like just like have your little machine. Oh, you couldn't hear me?
Cut out for a long time.
I want you to go to Japanese parliament. And I want you to have your little newspaper machine that you were looking at mangas on solving murders from 1964 and just be like, guys, I see here, you should be cool with gay. And
just be cool with gay, man.
And then just say, thank you very much, and then peace. I'd watch that on C-SPAN.
Yeah, hell yeah. Oh, like, what about the intro to Yuri on Ice?
Oh, it's such a good intro.
What would you say about that?
So good.
Like,
that is a good intro.
Born to Make History.
What does it evoke? Yeah.
Gayness. Just evokes so much gayness.
It is. Yeah. But not that that's a bad thing. Like,
no, not at all. Definitely not. But it definitely feels to me, every time I hear it, just like Japanese Panic at the Disco.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Oh,
I love
my
Panic
God.
at the Disco.
Jesus.
I love J Panic at the Disco. They're the best.
That just like blew my mind. Like,
You get it, right?
yeah, no, I do, but that's insane to me because I don't really like Yuri on Ice, but I know everybody loves it. It's like such a big show.
I had a fun time.
I enjoyed it.
I mean, like, no, it was entertaining, but I remember at the end being like, this isn't what I would like. I wouldn't actively search this out and watch it just for me. But the Panic at the Disco reference, damn, that's a deep cut because I love Panic at the Disco.
What else is there? Have you seen Kino's Journey?
No, I haven't. You're naming a lot of ones I haven't seen. I've seen like the big ones. So if you were like Steins Gate, Psycho-Pass, like Tokyo.
Well, yeah, well, I'm trying to help you watch the ones that you haven't seen, the ones that are like not the big ones, not the.
I'm glad that you've watched Psycho-Pass. That'll come in handy later.
Yeah, we're gonna come back to that. We've never talked about Psycho-Pass.
I've seen the first and last episode. So.
Yeah. Look, spoilers for the news.
It's a sizzle.
Oh, God. Can we edit that in post? Spoilers. Yeah. Spoilers.
Well, Duncan,
we'll fix that in post.
It sounds like you have a lot of stuff to catch up with, and we'll for sure send you a list of things you should be watching.
No, I
Can I get like a detailed like report after this?
Oh, absolutely.
Just listen to the back catalog. We got like over 100 episodes.
I'll never pressure somebody into watching anime because there's so much good shit out there and there's so much difficult to like just dive into shit. Like Shirobako, I want to watch that so fucking bad, but I'm so intimidated and I don't know why. It looks great, but I'm afraid, what if I don't like the characters?
That's how I feel about One Piece. I've had so many people tell me to watch One Piece, and I went and I saw how many I saw how many episodes there were, and I was like, "There's no way. I'm not."
No, there's no way it's worth it. No, there's no way. I agree with that.
No, I've seen every episode of Pokemon.
You should watch that one though.
So there's this psychopath that all of us know named Kate, and I don't know, 2 or 3 weeks ago.
Wait, is this the Kate that I know?
Yes. It is. 2 or 3 weeks ago, she was like, "Hey, Chris, have you ever watched Fairy Tail?" And I'm like, "Oh no, man, that's like 1 billion episodes long." And
I've seen every episode.
No. Anyway, she watched every episode in like 2 or 3 weeks. I've done. Seen every episode. She's caught up.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
I've seen every episode.
Did you like it?
But why?
Me? Okay, but why? At the time, I worked from home. I still do.
He was very sad. He just needed to watch something.
No, I lived with my girlfriend at the time and now ex, and she started watching it. And so she was like always watching it. And then I would miss an episode. So then I would go back and watch episodes. So yeah, I've seen every episode except for the current season. And I can tell you, I thought it was okay. But like, I don't
You don't
really
get it because it's just okay.
Yeah, like, I'm just like, yeah, it's okay. Like, I enjoyed it. Like, but like, it's one of those shows that if somebody's like, you got to watch it with like the subs, I'd be like, there's no fucking way. I have to be able to make dinner, like when that show's on.
Yeah.
It's like an on the background show for me.
You have to be able to like walk inside of the room and come back and be like, okay, cool. Absolutely. They're still doing the thing. Yeah.
Yeah. They're still like doing dragons inside of them. All right, cool. Sweet.
Cool. Yeah, no, that's one show for sure. I've never been like too keen to try to dive into. It sounds like too much work.
Honestly, a lot of shonens are really intimidating because they are such long-running shows.
Yeah, unless you start in the beginning, like we were on top of My Hero. I was on top of Boruto for a while, and I kind of stopped. And then
I was on top of Black Clover, but I decided, you know what? No, it's
not worth it. Yeah,
no.
Yeah, it's for sure not worth it. Cool, man. I think we got a good handle of who Duncan is, right?
Too many shows.
Yeah, I think we did it, right? Duncan, you did it. We know who you are. We know all about you.
Sweet. Blood type.
Oh, nice. So now we're.
I was like, hang on.
Now we know too much. Now we know too much. Now we're gonna get into the news if that's cool with you, Duncan.
Yeah, all right. The news sounds good.
Cool. Let's
Who does the news?
Welcome to the news segment of our show.
That guy
I always do the news, so we're good. Actually, today you're gonna take the wheel on it. So why don't you just tell us all the anime news?
Yeah, Duncan, what do you got? What's news?
Well, there's anime, and you can watch it still. So
that is true.
It hasn't been banned yet.
Psycho-Pass Season 3 has been officially announced, and it's being made by Production I.G, who did the first season and not the second. And I figure you might have some opinions on that, Duncan, because a lot of people tend to have hated the second season that enjoyed the first.
I 100% agree with that. So, yeah, so this is kind of weird to me because there are certain animes that stick out when I was a stoner. and when I would smoke a lot of weed, and then I'm like, I don't really remember a lot about the show.
Whoa, Duncan, keep it PG, dog. This is a Christian server.
I know,
this is
right?
a Christian server.
Yeah. Bless his heart.
Calm down.
But yeah, that's one of those shows that I liked a lot, and I remember the way that I describe it to people. I'm like, only watch season 1, and so. Yeah, I don't know. I guess I don't have hard feelings about that. I'm like, if they make it and it's terrible, then I'm going to be like, it's terrible.
Would you give it another chance, you think? Season 3 is coming back with the original fucking studio?
I'd have to go. So that's the thing is if a show does that and it has like that big a time or like even like a year, I will often say, okay, well, I enjoyed this. Now let me just go back and rewatch this show like in the background while I'm doing dishes or something to catch myself up. I can never just hop into season 3 and be like, yeah, let's do this.
Oh,
and I don't. Yeah, and I don't get that divisive. Like to me, like where I didn't know why season 2 wasn't good. I was just like, it's not very good.
Of course,
you just knew it wasn't. Yeah, no, I get that.
Well, being a huge fucking weeb, you figure out like what studio does what, and most people aren't huge fucking weebs, so they don't know what the hell's going on.
What's wrong? It's, like, it's a new studio. It's trash.
Exactly. So we happen to know things like Mob Psycho 100 being made by Bones, and then My Hero being made by Bones. It's like completely different animation styles, but we know that they're a kick-ass studio, so we're all good.
Well, that's cool. I think season 3 coming out is great. Maybe they're return to form. I only ever watched some part of the first season, so I never even got to the second season. And again, this is just good news for whoever's a fan of mobs. I mean, for Psychopaths, and hopefully it's good for them. If not, fucking, it's time for it to die.
And Production I.G's done a lot of really good stuff. They're actually behind a lot of Attack on Titan. Even though it's Studio Wit, it's also Production I.G. who's doing that.
Wait, so Production I.G, they're doing the Ghost in the Shell thing with Netflix, right? Weren't they part of that deal or whatever?
Yeah, they are.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty excited about that too. But yeah, Production IG's just been behind a lot of good things. I've been rewatching Haikyuu, and they made that, and it's fucking incredible. The animation, the sequencing, like the way that they introduce everything to you just feels good. So I feel like Psychopath Season 3, it might be something that if you were a fan of the first season, you should definitely keep checking out. So that's just my personal input from somebody who doesn't watch Psychopaths.
I agree, yeah.
That's fair.
All right, cool. Next up, Crunchyroll just put out a video this week that's a visual reminder that there are going to be some big movies coming out in this next year in 2019. So they just put like a bunch of, hey, here are a couple of scenes from these trailers. First off, One Piece is getting a new movie. It's One Piece Stamped. It premieres on August 9th in Japan. All of these are going to premiere in Japan, by the way. None of them are U.S. premieres, so they might come out this year in the U.S. They might come out next year, the year after,
or never.
We never fucking know, because that's just the way shit goes sometimes.
That is the thing about the news for anime that sucks. It's like, as a fan, you're just like, well, maybe a year from now. I'm like, all right.
Yeah. That's why you got to keep like your ear to the ground, and then hope you see something for us.
Gotta listen to this podcast.
True. For sure.
Got to do.
Essentially, yeah, that's what it comes down
if
to.
They want to, we go fuck.
Promo.
So none of us watch One Piece, so we're not super stoked about this, but it's fucking cool. Whenever these huge shows get movies, it's always a lot of fun to see.
I think this is like One Piece's like 11th movie too. Like they have so many movies, they have so many seasons.
Oh, absolutely.
And again, the issue with that, I feel like I would probably watch a One Piece movie just because their throwaways, they're non-canonical, they don't really matter.
Just like the My Hero movie.
Yeah, it doesn't fucking matter, right? So
a lot of fun, but it doesn't fucking matter.
Yeah, no one's gonna fucking die. They'll introduce new characters. That new character might die.
Yeah.
So
the characters are allowed to die. Like the main character just dies.
Yeah, Luffy just dies.
What the fuck? Why isn't Luffy in the new season?
You come back from the new season. It's like, yeah, he died. Didn't you watch the fucking movie, assholes?
Did you see it?
Yeah. I don't think they could ever do anything like that. So, I mean, cool for them for getting another movie. It's not like they needed one, but, I'm sure One Piece fans are super excited.
Absolutely. Next up, Pokemon the movie, Mewtwo Strikes Back Evolution, premieres July 12th in Japan. You might remember a little movie called Pokemon, the first movie. Well, it turns out this is that, but 3D, and the 3D looks kind of neat. It looks very stylized.
It looks interesting.
Wait, are you talking about the movie that the Burger Kings in the world also simultaneously ran a promotion where you could get Pokeballs with like gold coins inside of them?
Yeah, that was the first Pokemon movie, right?
That movie was awesome. And if they're doing it in 3D, I'm gonna see that because I love Pokemon. Because duh, like
I'm not convinced. I saw the trailer for it, and I was a little turned off. Really? And I'm usually turned on all the time.
Movie? Didn't he just say it's the same movie?
No, I mean it's the same story, but there's like different characters.
They of course changed some shit up. Yeah. I think it is all the same characters as the original. I think it's got Ash and Misty and Brock and stuff. And
Fuck
it looks
Ash.
Okay.
Well, how the fuck you never Pokemon movie with? Hey, yeah, Duncan. Hey, man, fucking almost all our viewers are just Pokemon fucking followers. So you calm the fuck down.
Yeah, I love Pokemon, but like Ash, it's like Ash is like the worst.
Everyone hates Ash.
You know what's
Ash
super
is like
funny,
the
Duncan?
worst.
Yeah,
I had no idea that Ash had never actually won a league. Like, Herb had to explain that to me.
Yeah,
he's never actually ever won anything.
Sucks. He's just a kid.
Also like he's like 10, or how old is he supposed to be in the show? I mean, he's really good at massaging Pikachu, but that's about it.
But I mean, like it's fucking just because the Pokemon I know is like the original nostalgia.
Yeah.
I gotta be the very best, whatever. He's never
gotta catch them all.
He's never accomplished that. He's not the very best.
Oh, but that was just so that you could play the game and become the very best. Dude, that's the only reason that was the theme song.
What if Ash Ketchum gotta catch them all? Ash Ketchum. What if he's like, oh my god. They need to do an adult version of Ash.
The porno's pretty good.
Man,
no. I meant like when he's like an actual Pokemaster.
Yeah, when he's legit. Yeah,
when he's like legit and he's like got a scar on his face because like Charizard finally just tried to rip his head off. And
8-year-old people like they're like beating him with better Pokemon.
I want to kick your ass.
Yeah.
Have you seen Pokemon Origins or any of the Pokemon shorts that they put up on YouTube?
Those are dope as fuck.
No, I haven't. Honestly, I was like just the standard show that came out with Ash, like you guys were saying, where they would like be like, this new Pokemon found or whatever, and then it would show, and you'd be like, God damn, Psyduck. I've seen all of those, and I really liked them. I saw the movie, and then I'm kind of excited about Detective Pikachu, but like I don't really know what happened after that with Pokemon. I played the games.
Here's
played
the
Pokemon
thing,
Go.
Duncan,
I know some things.
Duncan, you played the games. You're an old school Pokemon fan. Watch Pokemon Origins. It's everything you've ever wanted Pokemon to be. The Pokemon don't say their names. They roar and shit. They make animal sounds. They're like legit monsters.
Pocket monsters, if you will.
Yeah.
What, and like it's really Digimon?
Cool. Yeah, they're like Digimon. No, so it essentially goes through the story of the games. Where well, not the games, but the first game where it's red against blue, and he's going through everything and he's beating each set.
How many episodes are we talking here?
I think it's like 8 or something.
And they're not even like full length. They're like some of them are 10 minutes long at the most.
You said Pokemon Origins. I'm using my Madison pen.
I'm
using my Madison Bear pen to write that down.
Yeah, no, you definitely should.
I've got this piece of paper and I'm trying to write everything you guys say down because I'm like, I need all these things.
I know it used to be on Hulu. It probably still is.
You can probably watch it on YouTube.
It was even on.
I can find
Netflix
it.
for a minute.
I'm a content junkie. If you give me something, you're like, you can't find this on the internet. I'm like, I'm going like 17 pages deep in Google.
I'm going to give you something that I don't remember the name to, but Pokemon put out some shorts that were just short stories on their YouTube. Yeah. And they were anywhere between like 4 and 10 minutes. Essentially, it was different parts of the Pokemon world. So the police and detectives and stuff, they use a Magnemite in order to get through an electric card key for a door, and then they'll use Arcanine to like melt down a wall so they could jump through it in order to get the perp that they're trying to catch.
They're rating like
Dude,
Team Rocket's,
I am
like,
so down with Pokemon. Like I think I'm a huge fan of Pokemon in the sense that like I don't care. I just like kind of dropped off of the series because at that point in my life, I started doing started traveling and doing school and stuff. But anytime somebody's like, "Yo, this Pokemon thing," I'm like, "I'm down. I'll do it." Yeah, sure.
Listen, man, those are the two best Pokemon things as far as like watching it go.
I didn't mean to bogart your news section, but can I ask, what's your favorite Pokemon from the original?
The original 151?
Yeah. And don't say like new or like Mew or like Mewtwo or whatever.
No, I'm not going to be an asshole. Either honestly Scyther or Sandslash.
Dude, that's me. Yeah. I mean, we'll ask you one before Sandslash. Sandshrew?
Sandshrew, yeah.
I like him, and then Blastoise a lot. Those are my favorite. About your
character. That's nice. Scyther, Chris is a little that's a little odd for me.
Scyther's cool.
No, I like Scyther a lot, but for Chris to say that's his favorite tells a lot about his character, and I'm like, that's an interesting pick for you. I would have like assumed a Jigglypuff or something. I don't know.
No, man, I do love Jigglypuff is like my favorite character in Smash Bros.
She's such a
yeah, but no, I do have like a crystal Pokeball with a Scyther inside of it.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. I'm a big Scyther fan.
I just love how pissy he is, like a 90-year-old man.
I'm not a fan of Bulbasaur.
I like Ivysaur because it's even more pissed than Bulbasaur.
I just like Bulbasaur.
I don't like any of the Saurs.
He doesn't say. He doesn't say his full name.
I'm not a fan of.
He doesn't say his full name all the time. He's like Bulbasaur, and then sometimes he's like Boba. And I love that. Like,
yeah, man, no, I feel it.
Sorry.
No, it's cool.
Anyway,
that's great news, Pokemon's really close to my heart, so I'm cool with that.
So this movie's coming out. We'll probably end up watching it, right?
It'll come out July 12th in Japan, so we'll watch it whenever it comes out.
Oh, God. I was going to say, like, theatrical release, and no.
Yeah, we don't know shit yet. These are all nothing. It's all Japan, so they're coming out this year in Japan.
That's good with the Broly movie, though, doing so well in the US, because, like, I think that kind of starts to pave a way for more anime films actually be in theaters in the US because...
Oh, absolutely. I would really like if I didn't have just these 2 days that I have to go see a movie, because those are the only dates that it's being shown at an Eventbrite thing or whatever. So anyways, next up, Konosuba Crimson Legend. It's going to premiere in July, but no set date yet. So it's just premiering in July in Japan. Juan and I aren't fans of Konosuba. Juan doesn't even remember what it is half the time.
No.
And
it's super popular. Never seen it. Trip hates it for some reason. It looks great, though. That's all we ever say.
It does look great. And I like the memes. I'll give it, like, Aqua is useless. People always post that shit. And they're like, and what's her face, Meguin? Just blows shit up. And then there's also... I don't remember her name. It's something like Shadow or Dark Side or like Sneaky Boy. I don't remember her name, but anyways, those are the characters. Darkness. That's her name.
Good for Konosuba.
Yeah. So a movie. People are super excited about these because it's a continuation of the story. And it's not just a spin-off type thing. Mm-hmm. So people are into that. Detective Conan, the first Blue Sapphire. The Fist of Blue Sapphire. My bad. I typed wrongly earlier. Detective Conan, the Fist of Blue Sapphire is going to premiere April 12th in Japan. And Detective Conan has been going on for how long now? Like 30 years?
Yeah, probably as old as Duncan,
Damn.
So forever
that's
now.
Too old. That's too old. For a show to be that old is insane to me. It's like,
I know.
Don't people die? Like, people make the show, they write it. Don't they die? Because they were probably like,
they're not allowed
they're
to
like
die.
in their 30s when they were writing the show, where they were drawing, animating. There's like some guy in like the mail room, or some people pass away and retire. How do they make shows for that long? How?
I mean, The Simpsons.
Yeah.
God, have you seen The Simpsons lately?
Yeah, it's better than ever.
I mean, I'm just saying, like, if you're making that argument, I could make that one about The Simpsons. Like, it's just been around forever.
Yeah, like
different people
2,
take the
3,
wheelhouse
and 4.
with writing.
2, 3, and 4 of Simpsons best seasons ever. I haven't seen one recently. I just always say that, and people are like, "Yeah."
That's a safe one to say.
No, I've heard recently that obviously there's a renaissance of The Simpsons. Like, the beginning was the best, and it got really shitty after season whatever.
Yeah.
But people are saying that people who originally started watching The Simpsons are now old enough to start writing The Simpsons, right?
So those people that are writing it are now making it good.
God, yeah, that's what they're saying.
This goes back to my theory that you can watch the first and last episode of any series and be up to date.
Oh my God, shut the fuck up, Duncan. That's a horrible idea. I would like to just let everybody know who's listening to this. Don't ever do what Duncan does. Don't watch the first and last. We used to recommend watching the first 3 episodes of something and then be like, if it's not good enough, just quit,
Yeah, I think 4 is still really
4 is still
safe.
a good solid. But don't do the first and last and be like, cool, because then you sort of root for yourself.
No, like, I was always the kid. No, because I don't care about spoilers. People get so, like, oh, I saw the trailer, and then they had that thing in the movie. I'm like, whatever, I'm here. Like, cool. I don't care.
Yeah,
it's never ruined it for me, like, ever. If I had seen Han Solo die in the trailer, I still wouldn't have been that, I would have been like, all right, cool. Because I'm in the movie, like, it doesn't ruin it for me. So the first and last episode, I was always the kid who read the last page of every book.
Yeah, you're one of those monsters. Open the last page of the book and goes like, oh, cool, that's how it ends. And you go back and read the start. No,
that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, you're just a bad person.
Never been that Never been that kind of guy.
You know what the best book to do that with is? The Bible.
Oh, cool.
Okay, I see how it starts. Great. How's it end? Oh, neat.
Nice. They all die. Dope. Cool, man. What else you got?
Good old-fashioned family fun.
None of us watched either of those shows, but we sure did watch at the Instagram podcast, Rascal Does Not Dream of Bunny Girl. The new movie, Rascal Does Not Dream of Dreaming Girl, premieres June 15th in Japan. Crazy excited about this, actually. It is... Rascal Does Not Dream of Bunny Girl was very... it had like small stories. So it was just these little like 4, 2, 3 episode segments that broke down stories between certain characters. So they're giving a movie to one set of the stories from the light novels. which I think is fucking awesome.
Like there's more volumes and there's like cool, instead of just making another season of anime, we'll make this into a movie.
And just so you know, Duncan, this show, Rascal Does Not Dream of Bunny Girl Senpai, is not ecchi. It is
also not a harem either.
Yeah, it is very intimidating based on the name and based on the title card and everything.
And the intro.
But
well, it's got a 4 out of 9 or 4.9 out of 5 on Crunchyroll.
It's fucking incredible. It's so well written. It's just.
But I do know people who, like, I was talking like to Sierra's younger brother, and he wants to see this show, but his girlfriend won't let him or whatever. She's like, no, it's it's two sexy bunny chicks. That's not what I'm letting you watch. And
judging a book by its cover.
And he goes like, and I had to explain, like, that's like the least important thing in the entire show. That happens maybe 2 or 3 times in the actual show.
Which is actually important to the plot for certain reasons, and they make it really evident really quick.
Yeah, it's a good show, Duncan. You should watch it.
It's fucking incredible.
Yeah, no, I'm definitely gonna watch this.
Yeah, you and your girlfriend sit down and watch it. It'd be a good show.
No, I've seen this like cover a bunch, but then I always judged a book by its cover and was like, nah, I'm not into it. Fan service is fun. It's funny. Like, I'm down, but like that's what I thought this was. So I judged. I was
absolutely
judgmental.
Not. And us going into the whole season of we have to watch everything, even the complete trash things. We watched this and we were like, holy fuck, what was that? That was incredible. Yeah. I can't wait for the next week's episode.
I think we texted each other like, you see the bunny show yet? You're like, yeah. I was like, that shit fucking bumps. That shit's so good. Like, yeah, it's amazing.
Just, it's weird. It just came out from nowhere and it blew me away.
I'm excited to see this movie whenever we get a chance.
Putting it on the list. It's on the list.
Long story short, we're going to move on. So Sound Euphonium, the movie, Oath of the Finale, premieres April 19th in Japan. I am goddamn stoked. So Sound Euphonium is this, it's a series that's been around for a few years now about a high school band, and it follows a small group of the players. It mostly focuses on the girl who plays the euphonium, and she actually has somebody else who plays the flute, and they just kind of, or maybe it's the clarinet. I can't remember right now.
That's a huge difference.
It is a huge difference. And now I'm like, fuck, because there are just so many different characters that play all the instruments, right? So I'm forgetting who played what. Anyways, it follows them and kind of their story and friendship, and it deals a little bit with just their emotional growth, and it's really fucking good, and it shows them preparing for a big show when they're kind of just a shitty band, but then they want to become a better one. And long story short, by the end of the second season, they actually play a big show and they're like rated and ranked and stuff. And it was really good. And now they're making a movie to follow up with it, which I am super excited about just because they made a spin-off movie, and the spin-off was insane. It was incredible. Liz and the Bluebird. It was just such a well-done movie by the same people that did A Silent Voice. Same director, same music director as well. Just fucking great. So now this movie's going to come out. I don't know who's doing it. I don't know who's behind it, but it's going to be fucking amazing. And Kyoto Animation was the original one behind Sound Euphonium, and then they also did A Silent Voice and Liz and the Bluebird. So, anyways, I'm stoked.
Yeah, good for you.
Yeah, good for me. I don't know anything about this next thing, but Weathering with You premieres July 19th in Japan. I've never heard of it. It's something that I guess we have to keep on our radar, but Weathering with You.
Never, don't know.
It's coming out. People are excited. It's not a continuation of something. It's its own thing. So that's fucking dope. Since the rest of these have all been like, hey man, you know this? You're going to watch this movie. And next up, Promare. It's going to premiere May, no set date yet, in Japan. Or Promare. I don't know how it's being pronounced, but it's definitely made by Studio Trigger.
Nice.
And it essentially just looks like Gurren Lagann.
Nice. Oh yeah, it does look like it's just Gurren Lagann again.
Which I'm very excited
and
about.
technically Gurren Lagann was made by different studios, so it's okay.
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine.
Is that it? Is that the news?
No, I have one more thing. But those are all the movies coming out. So if you guys want to listen to us talk about those movies, keep an ear out in the future and we'll do it. I promise. We'll at least talk about one of them.
Yeah, for sure.
Probably like the Pokemon
for sure the Gurren Lagann one, yeah.
Oh yeah, okay, cool. And then the last piece of news that I have, Ascendance of a let me speak well. Ascendance of a Bookworm. I'll become a librarian at any cost. Receives a TV anime adaptation.
Oh, damn it. It's one of those shows with a dumbass long name. We have to watch it now.
It is. I actually am pretty into the idea of this show. It's this girl, complete bookworm. She fucking loves books. She reads them nonstop. That's her life. She dies. She's reincarnated.
As a slime.
No, as just a fucking regular girl who still has that passion. She has that passion for reading books and everything, but she grows up in an area of the world that doesn't have like any books. They don't have any libraries. People are pretty much illiterate, so she can't get any books because there's no access to it anywhere. She grows up in an era like that. So in order to get all the books to read, she starts writing books and makes a library and just becomes like this fucking book champion.
Whoa.
And it sounds very unique. It sounds like an interesting idea for a show.
It's like Slime meets Naruto meets Boruto meets One Punch Man. That sounds great.
Yeah, it's going to be dope.
I'll probably watch it.
Yeah, I don't know what it's going to be like. It might be bad. It might be good. But I thought that idea was really interesting.
Yeah, it's a good idea.
I'm glad the TV's being done.
Is that the news?
That's the news.
Cool, that's the news. Good. Now we can finally talk about this week's topic, which is something we've talked about in the past, but we haven't talked to Duncan about it in the past.
It's true.
Or this season about it, pretty much, right? So we're going to talk about Mob Psycho 100. It's true.
I wasn't here.
Perfect.
I mean, he was here. He just didn't say anything, that piece of shit.
Yeah,
he stayed quiet the whole time.
So Mob Psycho 100, it's made by Studio Bones. Its original creator, One, started making a web manga back in the day, wound up being One Punch Man, and then based off of that, he was like, I want to go for something completely different. Instead of being like a really good shonen superhero thing that's making fun of everything, I want to go for a more unassuming kind of shonen idea. I want to go for more characters instead of just like power and fights and whatnot. I want to focus on something different. So he made Mob Psycho 100, and fuck, it's good. Like,
oh, it's so good. I don't care what anybody says. Oh God, I've been holding that in for so long.
Duncan, it was again Christian server Duncan. Keep that shit in your pants. No, it is a really good show, and it's a show that I had to grew on me. I remember when it came out like a couple years ago, right?
Yeah.
I watched the first episode, and then I was like,
I think I watched two,
and I was like, no, I'm not feeling it. And then I just kind of dropped it.
Yeah.
And then you came back to me and you said, dude, people are popping off about this mob thing on Reddit or whatever.
It was on Facebook.
Yeah, it's like, you got to check it out. And then I was like, I'm not going to check it out. And then you started watching it, and they're like, dude, you really missed out on this fucking shit.
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, I don't care. Don't give a fuck. And then I think I watched all of it like the week before. It was like the wrap up was due. Yeah. And I was like, what a huge mistake.
Like, this was one of the best shows.
Such a good show. Yeah. That's it. That's our talk about Mob Psycho 100. Thanks for listening, guys. No, yeah.
And scene.
Duncan, how did you hear about Mob Psycho?
So I had a friend who is currently working in esports, but at the time was working for an anime company, and he sent me just kind of like an anime like starter pack where he's like, yeah, here's some stuff that was sitting in our merch room. And he sent me like the ultimate Blu-ray DVD combo pack of season 1. And he's like, yo, after we talked about anime for a minute, I kind of feel like you might like this show. It's pretty weird. And I was like, all right, this is kind of strange to get this on DVD Blu-ray. And so like I popped it in, and like season 1, I think episode 2, I was like, I fucking love this. I got so excited, and just like I blew through the season in 2 days.
Nice.
And like, yeah, and I work a full-time job. So like, it's, you know, I'm getting off at like 7 p.m. and I was like staying up until like 2 to watch every episode. And I just, oh God. And I did watch the dubbed for the dubbed for the first season. And I really enjoyed like the episode, like in between kind of commercial.
I was going to ask what you thought of. Yeah.
That really caught me off guard, because with animes, most times, like with like fairy tales, a really good example. I was like, cool. But I really enjoyed just like how kind of self-aware those were, and also just self-aware of a season in general was, where he's like, he's the protagonist of this series. I was like, this is great. I love this. This is amazing.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
I just know that didn't the first episode start off with like him like being OP and like a weird like psychic mode or whatever?
He's in space and he's fighting a bunch of monsters.
Yeah, that's how the
and
first.
It's got that crazy music like.
Yeah, I remember that popped off, and then nothing came of it. And I was like, am I watching the same show? Like I thought maybe they edited something wrong.
What is that instrument called? The Therium? The weird
theorem. I know what we're talking about.
Yeah.
The one that they use to make the Star Trek music.
That's what it sounds like.
Theremin.
That's
there we go.
Yeah, so I get that by episode 2 to get better. Was it 3 or 4 that really popped off for us?
Listen, man, I think it was episode 6 or 7.
Oh, yeah, it took a while.
For me, that was the point where I saw it, where I was like, well, the clip where I was like, I need to watch this. But really, it's his first fight with Arzawa. I don't what's his name?
Hair dude?
Yeah,
the hair guy. They got Marge.
Yeah, exactly. Marge Simpson. When Mob first fought him, that was when it started being like, oh, fuck, this animation's insane. And this is so rad. And I want to be in this. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And like, it also, it like transcends where you kind of, even I was watching it like dubbed, where I was like, I don't even know what the season or like what that scene just had in it, because I kind of stopped listening because the animation was insane, right? And like, I actually had the benefit for me as a fan of the show of not seeing One Punch Man first.
Okay,
so
cool.
I went back and watched that as a result of seeing this. But then I was just like blown away, where I was like, holy fuck, this animation is insane. And not only that, but like the character arc is really cool and fun.
Absolutely.
And I just kind of felt like it was not too serious, but serious enough. And also just kind of an interesting idea.
Yeah, them to break down a character and be like, he gets his superpowers through his emotions that he's not willing to express. I thought that was so cool.
Yeah, and it's so Japanese. It's like that like idea of like oppressed culture is just like so Japanese to me, and I was just like salivating to this idea. Not only that, but like this was like the first anime where I actually listened to the intro music and was like, oh, like I kind of like this. And then I was like, oh, I should actually listen to what they're saying. Right. And then I listened to the song and I was like, holy fuck, this is a really good song. It's like kind of nice, and like it's got a good beat, but it's also got like a really interesting kind of message behind it. And I think it might have been episode 2 or 3 where I was like, yeah, this is really weird. I like it. Because maybe I'm a hipster. Oh God, gross.
I mean, that's what it started out as.
You were a barista. You made sushi. Yeah, you're for sure a hipster, homie.
I can't grow facial hair though, so
you're a bad hipster then.
I don't know. I think that's kind of a hipster thing. Is growing bad facial hair, right?
Maybe you're the best hipster. Maybe you're king hipster.
Oh shit! Big moves. But no, when the show first started, I just watched it and was like, what the fuck is this ugly, gross thing? And I'm like, I fucking hate this guy. Why is he so sleazy and bad? And like, why is he treating that kid like shit? Why do people like this? Mm-hmm. And then jump to episode 4 and you're like, I fucking love this. I can't get enough of this. Why didn't anyone tell me that it was actually going to be this good?
I think the art style is something that like grew on me, because like I was really disgusted with it. And then there's a scene where like Mob's running with the Body Improvement Club, and he's literally melting, you know, because he's
crying
dying
and melting.
Yeah. And that scene, like it's my like it's my picture for my Discord or whatever. It's like one of my favorite like screenshots of anything. And I was like, that moment was like, this is like the most amazing art I've ever seen.
Oh, it's so incredible.
At Anime Expo last year, I actually saw 5 cosplayers that were the
big boys.
The big boys. And they were like spot on, like so good. And they were like ripped dudes. Around. They were like a couple of them were like jacked, and I was like, this is amazing. I'm
the Body Improvement Club. They're perfect.
I am so happy right now to see these men walking around just being like, yeah, we're anime nerds and we're jacked as fuck.
I think you know what else is going for the show is, you know, the characters are so great. Like even just side characters that we see for a bit, like they think they don't, the ones that don't get much play, and then like we see them later, like, you know, the bully that's a part of the like the gang or whatever, who becomes a member of the part, like the Body Improvement Club, Body Improvement Club themselves. You know, Mob's little brother. You know, these characters.
Everyone has good arcs.
Yeah, people who aren't you wouldn't think are super important. Like even the hair guy. You know, like I thought like he's gonna be like a bad guy for a bit. He's gonna beat him.
Instead, he's like, "Oh fuck, I'm humbled."
Yeah, and then like he's the dumbest hairdo in the world. Oh, and then Dimple,
fucking incredible.
Dimple's like a really good example of that. And for me, like, I really loved in season 1 where I was like, oh fuck, like his little brother's gonna be like evil. He's so pissed. He's gonna be like a pissed little brother. That'd be so cool. And I was like, oh, spoilers. Like people seen it, right? Like your fans, like, if they haven't seen them, then fuck that. No,
season 1 could have spoilers and stuff. We're on season 2 now, so we're all good. This has been out for a couple of years. We've talked about the live action show. We talked about Ekubo instead of Dimple and all that shit. As I'm reading the manga, Dimple is named Dimple, so it's weird that it was translated as Ekubo. in the live action. I have such a gripe with that, but whatever. I still remember it. And that's fucking crazy to me. But going back to like the animation style and how like gross everything looked at first, reading the manga has that same effect where you're just like,
the manga's hideous.
Yeah, this looks atrocious. And then by a certain point, you're like, yeah, that looks really shitty, but it's fun.
But you get why it looks like shit, right? Don't you, Duncan? Like,
probably not. I don't know. Is there?
So the reason.
Tell me more.
So one who wrote the webcomic wanted to tell these stories, and he wanted to make this manga, but he is a bad artist. Like, he's no good.
But
that makes sense, because when I saw the manga, I was like, I could write. I could draw this. Like,
exactly.
This is pretty bad.
Yeah, like he wrote One Punch Man, and it was like really fucking ugly, really goofy looking faces or whatever, and then it got picked up and got turned into an actual manga, and someone and then one helped work with them to make the manga, and the manga looks really good now,
and it's also stylized.
And then he also, like we said, he did Mob Psycho 100 after that, but he's just back to, well, I still don't know how to draw, I'm just gonna draw this shitty fucking thing, and it looks gross as fuck.
You gotta give him props, man.
Oh yeah, absolutely give him props for going out and making something, even though he knows he knows he's not a good artist, but he's just like, that's not going to stop me or deter me from making a show that he wants to make or a story he wants to tell. And I think it's super cool that they're able to translate that shitty art style into the anime. Like it's like you can see it, you can for sure see it,
and it just adds another level to it.
Like, because like when Mob is just like mobbing around,
when he's just chilling,
it's like, like this guy looks like a bad press release for the monkeys. Like, what is this? This looks bad. But when he like busts out his Esper powers and he's all like the numbers, the way that it cuts,
fucking insane.
It's insane, and it also just feels like I'm doing drugs and I'm not, and I love it.
Very psychedelic so and the best way. And they used a lot of cool rainbow and particle effects with it.
Oh yeah,
it's just awesome.
It reminds me of like the holographic cards. Exactly. Like a hollow fucking Charizard or some shit. Like, it looks fucking dope. Yeah, I'm glad you knew exactly what I was talking about.
As soon as you started saying it and you moved your hand up, I'm like, that's the way you would hold a card.
That's I'll tell you, hold a holographic card. You just move it back and forth. Like, nice. Look at this fucking Charizard.
Ooh. Yeah, no. It's just outstanding. It blew me away when we finally started seeing those animations, and it just knocked it up to another level. And reading in the manga, you definitely don't get that. What the manga does give you that the show doesn't is, I feel like it's not as refined, but in doing so, it makes everything feel a little bit more raw. Like, it's what people would actually say. They have a lot of moments where instead of saying something or explaining it well, it's just a character saying a couple of words and then another character swears at it, and it's like a lot of just like, fuck that, instead of being like, come on man, I can't believe you would do that because of these things, that would happen in the show. And it's a little bit more articulate. They have it's cruder, but raw, in a more real way.
Yeah, for sure.
So I gotta say though, like Reagan, right, his sensei in season 1, there's this point where like you kind of see him talking to Mob, and you're like, okay, like this is a legit dude, and you like don't really know who's telling him that advice in the beginning. Like, I thought it was his dad.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? And then you find out there's Reagan, and you're like, all right, cool.
It's
nice, right? But I gotta say, like, not like too many spoilers. Season 2, seriously, that character arc of that character to me, made the series for me. It like almost brought me to tears. More real. It almost brought me to tears. I was
totally
like,
get that.
damn,
I for
Jesus.
Sure, I for sure didn't cry when I saw that in season 2, but I remember
I didn't cry. I said it almost.
No, me neither. No, I'm saying the reason I said it is because I cry all the time when I watch it.
Juan cries nonstop.
So what
I cry when I watch Steven Universe.
For sure. We cry all the time.
Don't even get me.
No, but
that's another episode.
I very adamantly remember telling Trip how much I fucking hate Reagan. Like in the first season,
at the very beginning, he fucking sucked, and then by the end of it, you're like, "Oh, I like him. He said some really good things. He was really funny. He made the show what it is."
Exactly. By the end of the first season, I was like, you know what? I do like him, but I remember very much hating him, but still like liking the show. Just being like, "You fucking piece of shit. You're not looking out for Mob or whatever. You're just using him." And then, like you're right. In the second season, we do get to see the character development of him progress even more.
It's so, but like that's the thing is like after season 1 in particular, I remember thinking, he's kind of a shitty person.
Like, it's like a sleaze bag,
he's a shitty dude, right? But like, I really think for some reason, Mob is like bringing the best out of him in that particular scenario, like in that echo chamber for Mob. And like it pushes that really far in season 2 where like, you know, things aren't so good and you're like, no, that's not so good. But like for the most part, I'm really curious to see what his character development is as they go on, because I really hope he doesn't fuck it up, because like Mob's like pretty dangerous.
Yeah, absolutely.
And like I at this point I haven't read all the manga, so like I don't know if you guys know. I don't know why Mob is so powerful. He's just like Goku, where you're like, all right, cool. Like I guess he's a psychic. Whatever. I haven't gotten that far in the manga. We might find out in the show, but I honestly don't need much of a reason. I don't really need it agree.
I think that in the we saw other espers in the first season, and we saw like a little bit of them. In the second season, we see a lot more. Yeah, and it's cool because they're introducing them, and it's not like they don't have to do like a lot of like comic books have to do like, where did these people get their powers kind of thing. I think they just kind of, it's a foregone conclusion that people have powers, and people are kind of normal people don't really know about it, and they kind of just talk about it. Like there's a press conference for seeing if Reagan actually has powers, and there's like, you don't have powers. He goes, fuck you, I don't have powers. And then he's like, I'm not going to say anything or whatever.
Dude, that was such an awesome scene. I was like,
I think finding out why they're powerful isn't really that important. You know, if it ever gets brought up or anything, it's just kind of, people have powers, some people don't.
Well, that's like the thing to me is that I'm curious, because like Mob doesn't, my theory is that like Mob's not like a normal Esper, right? Like no, I feel like maybe like in the psychic world, I feel like maybe like you're a god or like a king of the like the psychic world has like he's incarnate from that. Do you know what I mean?
Or just the chosen one or some shit like that. There's always like he's the one
something
that has
like
to,
that. Yeah, some like he stubbed his toe in the dark, and they were like, yeah, that guy.
Yeah, pretty much. But I also, with the show, I want to see where that shitty group of kids is, because they've been working on it, and Arizawa actually went to the owner of, or leader, I don't know what the fuck he is, the funder.
He's the patron
of this whole psychic enhancement session.
He's the Professor X, essentially.
Yeah, and Arizawa came up and he's just like,
he's not Professor X. He's like, wow, it's like that guy's like a douche popsicle. Like,
what I mean is like he collects people with powers because he doesn't have powers. He's like, and I will take care of them and feed them, and that's what Professor X is like. Hey, I was
like, pump the brakes.
No, but that's the
not getting into the finer details.
Calm down, Duncan.
Sorry. Carry on.
And I mean, he was in a way able to yield some kind of results from Mob's brother, and then Arizawa going there and being like, hey, I want to help out too. I wonder if they're going to have more enhanced abilities. I mean, clearly they're not going to be as capable as our other big characters or anything, but I want to see them have a moment together.
Can I ask, what was the power of the brown-headed one and the square-headed one? Like one of them
could talk to each other with their minds.
They could talk to each other with their minds.
Was that telepathy, but only with each other because they're twins?
Okay,
it's like the worst power.
Well, one of them can bend spoons really good, and then one can kind of shoot fire or whatever, right? But
but like that's the thing though, is that it's all tied to their emotions, and most of those kids kind of seemed pretty just like, I'm more like level-headed, you know what I mean? So they didn't seem like they were able to tap into that. So like maybe with like the correct training, or I mean, honestly, Reagan, like as dumb as he is, he's pretty brilliant. Like picking stuff up sometimes where you're like, what? That's awesome. That does make sense.
Yeah, and I still can't get over all of his like the psychics being like, "Here's some salt punch," and then he just like crushes it.
Reagan's like, special salt attack.
It's actually like a kick or whatever.
He drop kicks a motherfucker.
Just drop kicks him right in the chest. Like, I love that.
Never be violent. And
don't ever hit anybody. Don't ever use your power for evil. And he just punches someone in the face.
It's so good. Did you see the Reagan special, the recap of season 1?
Yeah.
That was a lot of fun. That was a unique way to do it.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it, but I also thought it was going to be like a brand new episode, and I was like, oh, this is kind of weird. And so like I felt like let down kind of, because I was like, that's kind
of how I felt about the Violet Evergarden episode that we got. By the way, Violet Evergarden, you should watch that one too.
Violet Evergarden is one of the best shows ever made.
It's on Netflix.
That's definitely you don't need to watch anime in order to watch Violet Evergarden.
I want to quickly, I mean, Duncan talked about the intro real quick. I think the intro song's dope, the visuals
in
are
the
dope.
first season.
And then the outros with the sand art was also really cool. Like, whatever they're doing musically is great. Like, they're just like stylized choices they pick. I love the fact that like in the first season, we see Mob's crush or whatever, and the two girls around her were like, one's a bell pepper and one's like an onion or whatever. Or an apple or something like that. Potato. I think those are so funny because we don't ever actually see, because if you see them again, they're just the same dumb looking vegetables. Like, they're just, whoever made these calls or decisions like to do
my
that.
Theory is
one.
that my theory is that
he made the manga and that's the way he did it.
My theory is that that girl is evil.
What? Why would you say that? She's obviously
because she's at Reagan's office at one point.
Savoni,
right? Yeah, and you're like, why is she here, right? And then like she's
Duncan,
also
because she's a good person, dog.
Nah, dude. Like, I always think everybody's evil. Like, I thought the little brother was evil. I think that now I'm like, I don't really know.
Well, he was for a second. He was just having an emotional arc.
Yeah, he's being a little jealous
like,
bitch.
Yeah, his whole thing was jealousy his whole life, and he was afraid of his brother. And then now that he had the power, he felt like he could take his brother on. But then Mob's just like, oh, brother, I'm so proud of you. I love you.
He's
and
like,
then,
damn,
everything's
I
good.
can't fight my brother.
Dude, that scene. I called my brother after that, and it was just like, hey, man, what's up?
Crying. Just like, I'm so sorry.
You're such amazing. A good older brother.
Anime brings out all those emotions with me. I'm like, I should call my sister all the time.
Yeah, so do we want to talk about the second season at all?
Yeah, I think it's important to note that in the second season, they picked up a lot of what they had already done, and they wanted to improve on it. So the beginning of the first season of Mob was a lot of just throwaway episodes. It's kind of like...
These are the characters.
Yeah, well, not so much. It's like a throwback to old anime, in my opinion, in that that's how shows would start. They would just be like, and a small contained story and a small contained story over and over and over until you get comfortable enough and you're like, yeah, I get it. Like, I didn't learn anything new about the characters.
I never thought about that, but that's like very true.
But I'm saying, like, these are the characters. Like, the way it goes. What I meant is like, they would just show you Mob and fucking Reagan. It's like, here they are, and it wasn't like, oh, we don't know who they are, we don't know what their deal is yet. And then like after once we got comfortable used to them, it was like, great, now let's dive into who they actually are.
But with season 2, I feel like what they were trying to do is they were trying to go back to that same things that they did before, but they were also like, but these are the new characters. These are the characters that have grown and matured in different ways, and just check out these. Like when Mob has to confront the Ghost family with those fuckers that
the college kids or whatever. Yeah. That wanted to.
I like, honestly, in my mind, I thought of them as like social media influencers, like just being like, like, we're scared. That was a good scene, though.
It was really well done, I thought. But I feel like they tried to just show us like these are the new characters in old situations with that, and I think they did a good job. And then they started diving further into Reagan's story and what's going on with him. And then that was just incredible. And that's where you really get into the whole milk and cookies of the series, as I like to say.
Meat and potatoes is another.
I've listened to a bunch of these podcasts, and I've never heard you say that.
Oh, yeah, no, I say that all the time.
This is when you get into the meat and the milk of the show, the potatoes and the cookies of the show. This is where the fucking bread and butter is, yeah.
But then they build off of that, going off of these like little emotional episodes. They also had beforehand the really big like Mob story arc of what if I didn't have powers, and exploring that whole world, which was incredible too.
That lasts for like an episode, just like a whole episode.
A whole episode of him not having powers, not knowing what to do until Dimple shows up, and they're like, "Hey, asshole, we fucking need you. You have powers. The fuck?"
And he goes, "Oh, you're right."
Not only that, but like that to me, like Mob is like very interesting because like he's a conduit for other people to have amazing arcs, because like when you really drill down into it, Mob's arc doesn't seem incredibly like powerful, like in the sense of you're not like, wow, what an amazing character arc, because you're like, he's super fucking powerful, he's kind of a dweeby, like, yeah, we get it, right? We've kind of seen that done in different representations before, but it's the people around him and how they affect him and how he affects them that is just so fucking amazing. Like Dimple, like totally like just a little shit. Like he's not like he's just like a little shit guy, right?
Yeah,
and like
he's a little
in
shit
season
guy.
2, he's like in season 2, you're like, damn, what the fuck? Why is Dimple being like? And like it's like he's just becoming a good thing, right? That's like Mob does that. He brings that out of people. I would even make the argument that Reagan is like a bad dude, but Mob brings good out of him. Do you know what I mean?
And I think that's the point that we're at with these episodes. Like, we didn't watch the recent episode that because it aired today and we're recording or whatever, just for anyone that's listening to this episode.
Technical podcast bullshit, blah, blah, blah.
Whatever. Anyways, I feel like the show is going in that direction where it is showing like the defeated members of Claw that they went and fought and now they're better.
Yeah, they got beat by Mob and like, yeah, you're right, we're wrong.
You see all these different people that Mob has influenced, and whether it's his psychic abilities that are influencing him, like not intentionally, but him beating them through his psychic abilities. I don't know if something's transferring over, like part of them is becoming good because of his psychic effects or something. But I feel like there's definitely a connection that you're making with Mob is making people better.
It's like rippling out from him.
Yeah.
Somehow. And like what scares me about that a little bit is like we've kind of seen that like ooh, no spoilers, but like in season 2, there's like a moment where you're like, fuck, shit is about to go down.
For sure,
it's going to be bad. Like whoever is like even close to Mob, anybody, like I straight up thought it was going to get ugly for a second. And
I also love that they took an episode that they were just like, yeah, this is just a little bit of like calm down from that emotion. And then at the end, they just fucking slap you in the face.
They slapped you and then it's like, it doesn't cut to black. It like cuts to like the funny, like whatever. But like, I just was like, what the fuck? And you know what's the best about that is that I've been dying to get my girlfriend to watch the show because I lent out the Blu-ray and the DVD to 2 separate friends, right? And Funimation, I think, no longer has the dubbed, right? And I was like, oh, I really wanted to watch the dubbed. And so then that's why I broke down. I got Crunchyroll and I was on that episode and was just like, my girlfriend was over and I was like, hey, like, I love the show. Like, let's just watch this episode and you'll get like a good feel for it. It's had a pretty good pace the last couple episodes, season 2. And we watched that episode and it ends with that. And it was like,
oh man.
Fuck.
What like, the whole house just explodes. Just like what fucking, like your house explodes. Just emotion.
She was like, I don't know.
No, that was pretty wild. I'm right now reading Invincible, which is this comic book. I don't know if you know about it, Duncan. It's written by the guy that did Walking Dead. But it's like the last compendium.
Oh, okay, no. I think I have another.
So it's like the last compendium, and I was like, I just bought it, so I'm reading it, and like I think it's like chapter, I think it's like 97 or whatever. Invincible has a conversation with like some comic book guy or whatever about like the logistics of like how you have to ramp up stuff and change things and pick up the pace and trick people or whatever to sell more comics. And then this is while he's in a comic book and he goes, oh, that's kind of fucked or whatever. And then like chapter 100 comes through and this fucker, I mean, the main character's head gets popped off. Like it literally gets crushed and you're like, what? This is insane. He has to find out later. It's just a bunch of like clone bullshit. It's all a bunch of stuff. And that's kind of how I felt about this bit. I was just like, cause I got really tricked. I was completely,
I felt duped.
I felt very duped essentially. And I was like, oh my God, I'm really scared. And what's weird is that I was scared for the characters in the show. I wasn't scared for people who really like this. There's no real
nothing's at stake.
Nothing's gonna happen to me. But I was when this huge thing happens in this one episode at the very end of it. I was like, oh my God, please. I was like, I gotta play the next episode right now because I don't know what's gonna happen to these other characters I've learned to love or whatever. Wait. Yeah. And then I found out and I was like, oh, it's okay. We're gonna be okay.
That's the kind of stuff that like makes me bananas for like a week where I'm like on Google like 14 pages deep into the search and I'm like, somebody tell me, somebody needs to know. But yeah, like I've tried with Mob not to go. You know what? I have read the last page of the last manga.
God damn it, Duncan.
I will tell you, it doesn't reveal anything at all. It's like, oh, okay, what? So you like it's completely out of context. It made no sense. It wasn't like some other things like I've read where I was like, okay, cool. But I have no idea what's gonna happen.
That's so strange. No, I do agree.
I'm a crazy person. I'm so sorry.
As soon as that shit happened in like Mob, I like instantly grabbed my phone and be like, I gotta look something up. And I was like, no, I have to be careful because if I type in the wrong thing, something's gonna get spoiled for me. So I put my phone down. I was like, just watch the next episode and be patient, and we'll see what happens or whatever.
Yeah, it's
and
like somebody new to Game of Thrones. You can't look anything up.
Don't look up anybody's name. Don't be like, oh, who was that character again? Because then you scroll down a little bit and then it goes dead.
Died.
And you
go, season, episode
fucking 6. Damn it, yeah.
Like Game of Thrones is like a really bad example because it's like anybody is like dead.
Yeah.
Oh, cool, dead. Oh, yeah. Cool,
so there are always those risks. Like if you're about to look something up, it's like, ooh, is that character going to be dead or not? Let's hope it's not. So like with Mob, I feel like you don't really have that, but you still have those spoiler elements that you want to avoid.
For sure. So obviously the second season is just as beautiful as the first season. Yeah. You know, stylized. They got all the stuff we got for the first season.
It's better than the first season.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
I would say it's better because the character arc is really good. The song intro is not as good, but the character arc is really good.
Did you say the intro is not as good?
Whoa, the intro is better in my opinion.
The intro is not as good in the second season.
Man. You're just wrong. Do you know what
the lyrics are? The lyrics are so good. The song is fucking out of control. The animation is like here and there and everything that
visually, like the stuff that you see, like it's just like is an homage to like all different types of animation.
I agree, it's great, but I love it. It's top 10 anime intros for me. I'm like, yeah, this is great because it's really creative. I love
Duncan's
the song.
Fucking backpedaling right now.
No, I love the song, but I'm saying that for me, season 1 I really liked because it had like, I was like, I could put this on at a party and people would be like, yo, is this the new like fucking Drake track?
People would be like, hey, who the fuck is this song? Duncan, so good. Who the fuck let Duncan in here again? Get him out of here.
Trust me, when I'm at work and I just have my Spotify going and I'm like, all right, there's some Alt J and we're jamming. And then the next song comes on is an anime outro. And I'm like, please nobody.
No, I agree. I do like the song for the first season better, but and the visuals are great, right? Mm-hmm. In the second season, the song is also really good, but the visuals are so.
The lyrics are better, and the lyrics are better technically in my mind because they are a little bit more emotional in the second season. The first season is more like, "What do you want? What do you want?" In the second season,
no, it for sure
be
hypes
your own
you
person, and
which is a lot of the the goals for like intros. Like they're supposed to get you ready for what you're about to watch.
And they got takoyaki. They got takoyaki
they did it.
in both intros, and I was like, I love takoyaki. It's like it's one of my favorite foods.
For the outro of season 2, I like it also. It's like it's a kind of cutesy art style at the very beginning.
It's kind of
nice. It's not like my favorite. I think it like the sand art from the first one so
much
better.
I agree.
But it's still good. Like they both have their merits,
Yeah. I would put season 1's intro up in a competition against like all other intros, but season 2's intro up against everything, but season 1's outro up against like all everything other else. Outros.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Oh, yeah,
absolutely.
That is a really good point. Actually, God, it's really tough. Yeah.
When you start talking about shows with other people with different opinions,
Duncan, find yourself a friend who likes anime. Meet him once a week and just talk to him about anime. And before you know it, you're talking about the stupid stuff like, yeah, but what about the intro? What about the bumper here? What about the outro?
And then start recording it and start just putting it out into the void and hope that other people enjoy these conversations.
How to podcast 101.
Yeah, no. So like Trip and I have come to a point where like we'll just like look at each other and be like, hey, yeah, the outro though, and he goes, yeah, look at the like
we try not to say anything because we're saving it for the podcast, but we know.
Chris impression.
Well, yeah, the thing
I'm a trucker.
Because like we used to at first because we were trying to get like a feel for each other, we would talk about it beforehand, and then we'd have to try to remember to repeat what we said before. Yeah. So now it's just like we kind of just start. We
just got it.
We hit record and then we go, hey, did you like the show? And he goes, nah.
Hit record and you're like, R. Kelly.
No. Well, that's a deep cut. Yeah, no. We hit record and then I just kind of look at him like, did you like the show? And he either says yes or no, and I go, cool, and I'll tell him how I felt, and then we just talk about it later. Because it's kind of scary to go in blind and be like, I fucking love this, and Trip goes, that was the worst fucking thing I ever seen in my life.
Right? It's just like because you way oversell it,
and you're like, ooh. So I have to gauge myself. So you go like, you say it's okay. I go, I like this show. And then
that was like a huge fear of mine when like Chris reached out to me and was like, oh yeah, you should be on our podcast. And I was like, he's like, what anime are you into right now? I was like, I think I responded within like 10 seconds to you, Chris. I was like, Mob Psycho 100, all caps. And
what if he would have been back and been like, you fucking nerd, that's trash.
Yeah, you thought,
good luck on your own.
Like Chris knows way more, hands down, about anime. He said so many words during the news section that I was like, I have no idea what he just said. He said so many combinations of words that sounded like a foreign language. And so when he was like, yeah, I was like, yes.
No, yeah. So when Trip was like, yeah, we put Duncan on the show or whatever, and then he goes, what should we talk about? Like, I don't know, fucking ask him what show he likes. And then Trip goes, okay. And you said Mob Psycho was like, solid, we got a show. Like,
it's sold right there. That's
I can talk about that show. That show fucking bums. That shit's the best.
Don't have to worry about it.
Yes.
It's probably this
season.
It's
an easy watch. That's it. It's an easy watch. Yeah.
This season, it's I think the only other show that's new that I like a lot is probably Promised Neverland.
I'm gonna watch that. It's on the list.
Promised Neverland, Mob Psycho, and Dororo are my 3 of the season.
I haven't seen all Dororo yet, but that's on Prime. It's a little harder for me to get to it just because I have to go to another website.
Yeah, true.
Wait, but then, are you watching? Can I ask a technical question? How are you watching anime? Like, are you doing it on your laptop? Are you doing it on your phone?
I do it intravenously. It's just easier just when it goes straight into the bloodstream. But no, I just pop it on my PS4, pop on Crunchyroll and watch it for the most part, and then flip over to Amazon Prime and I'll watch it there.
Sweet.
The way I do it
because I have those too. So, all right, cool.
The way I do it is I cast it from my phone. So Crunchyroll, Hulu, Funimation, all of those can cast instantly to the thing. And then, to my Chromecast.
Yeah.
So the only one I think High Dive won't let me do it yet.
High Dive won't let iPhones do it.
Yeah.
But it's a weird, complicated thing where you can't get an app to do it, and then you can't do it from your phone necessarily.
Doesn't do iOS yet.
If you don't have an iPhone, you could do it.
Because you have an Android,
good.
Yeah. So, but the way I do High Dive and Prime is I jump on my laptop and then cast it that way.
Yeah.
But I've never had to deal with the apps because Trip has the Crunchyroll app on PlayStation. Mm-hmm. I think I used it once and I was like, this is fucking ass. Like this is not good.
Have you guys used Anime Lab?
No. Never even heard of that.
It's Mad Men or Mad Men's streaming service.
Yeah.
Never heard of them.
It's Australia. It's like the Funimation of Australia.
Uh-huh.
But there's Funimation, Crunchyroll, and Mad Men technically in the US, and Mad Men has
and Verve and High Dive.
Verve technically,
Amazon.
But Verve doesn't
Powerhouse
produce. Of anime. They don't produce anime. Am I mistaken in that?
Not yet, bro.
They license it.
Yeah, there was one thing on there that I think they.
So Mad Men Entertainment produces some anime.
Yeah.
And they have their own service. It's I don't know. I was just curious because that's something I've heard about. Verve I don't really like, honestly. Verve, I'm just why not just go to the source?
Verve all you want. Yeah. Fuck Verve.
We don't fuck with Verve.
Yeah, we don't like Verve. Fuck Verve.
What did they fuck up? They fucked up that Goblin Slayer thing. Fuck Verve.
Verve is the real one player.
They played the thing in the wrong order.
Services.
Oh yeah, they did. That was fucked up.
We hold weird gripes with things like Hulu. I think 4 years ago for Anime
Jesus
for Anime Expo. They had a big old banner that said come watch fucking anime at Hulu, the powerhouse of anime.
Yeah, and they sent me an email and they were like, hey man, you're coming to Anime Expo. We know it. We like you. Also, don't make sure you put out some extra time to go to Hulu's booth.
The powerhouse of anime. And I thought it was so funny because there's
the powerhouse? That's how I describe my dick. I don't the powerhouse of anime.
That's why it fucking blew my mind. I'm like, wait, Hulu? This motherfucker?
The balls on them to fucking say that.
At the time, they had One Punch Man, and I think that they had Bizarre? My Hero.
No, they had My Hero.
They had JoJo's, right? Bizarre.
Did they have that a couple years
ago? Yeah, they've had that for a minute. Because that has been showing up on recommendations for me on Hulu for so long, and I'm like, what is this?
No, but
it's something weird,
originally
man.
The thing that they were pushing a lot was One Punch Man and My Hero Academia.
Yeah, those were the two main ones that were the constant, just hey, come here, put on this virtual reality set. You're gonna watch One Punch Man.
And before that, I think 6 or 5 months before that, they had this. Hulu had a great back catalog of anime.
Yeah,
they just no way to see it. You had to fucking look for it.
Hulu had a purge.
They had the apocalypse of anime, and so they sent out this giant list, Duncan, of all the stuff they were cutting, and I was just like, that's everything.
Yeah.
Everything.
Well, now they're
half of the shows.
They're partnering. They signed with Funimation, right?
They did. Yeah.
And
they got
which is interesting. Which is interesting to me when I think about anime from a standpoint of the production standpoint. So Crunchyroll is hated in Japan by the bathhouses because Crunchyroll was the piracy site, and then now it's a legitimate bitch site. And I don't like Crunchyroll. People who are I like Crunchyroll. I'm like, well, you're a bitch. You don't know. The history of it is that they were stealing it, giving it away for free, and they legitimately do not give a fuck about what the people in Japan want. Right? Funimation really tries to play by the rules, but again, they're too big. They're owned by Sony. Now they're doing this thing with Hulu.
Yeah.
And then Netflix is getting into the game, and Netflix, honestly, I do not know how Netflix has anime because you're scrolling through Netflix and you're like, that's not the same picture that was here a week ago. Has that ever happened to you?
all the time.
It's a weird. If
that happens with anime, somebody in Japan literally dies. Somebody dies from a heart attack. They're like, "Oh my god, my show!" And they like die because they're like, "That's not what I want." Right? Like that's how serious people are in Japan about this. And I only know this because I had an anime client, and I'm just fascinated by the fact that the future will have Netflix having anime with Hulu, because I'm like, these companies don't give a shit. They don't. They're just going to do whatever they want.
The business ends of things is really interesting because obviously we now have like an insider view. We don't know what it's like. So
every once in a while we'll have breakdowns of like, this is how much animators are being paid. This is what's going on here. Clearly there are a couple of bigger animation studios that treat their employees really, really well. Like Kyoto Animation, fucking incredible company. But then we don't hear a lot about the licensing and distribution of anime too much. We just know that, what feeds the anime industry is sales from DVDs and Blu-rays. That's like it.
And that's why like Amazon getting into this, and like I'm like, oh my god. And then like I brought up to you guys about Right Stuff before this. I was like, Right Stuff. They just sell DVDs. Yeah. And people were like, what? And like, anime is a very fascinating industry to me. Aside from like the culture of like actually the shows, but the industry itself. I'm like, in the United States, I don't think like a beginning fan trying to get into it understands how incredibly complicated it is to get an anime to them. Like you just said, all those movies during the news segment.
Yeah, we'll probably not get them for a while. Yeah,
you're not going to get them for a long time. Yeah, you know what I mean. And like that's crazy to me. That's the thing that like is absurd to me with anime is like Mob Psycho. I really love it. I love the dub. Who knows when season 2 dub is it happening? I don't know.
I think it might be getting simuldubbed by Funimation.
No, I checked. It wasn't there. And I was fucking so pissed.
Oh, the Crunchyroll pick it up. The thing is like you got to kind of like guess things. So, you know, Netflix does this thing where they get in really good shows. Like they got Violet Evergarden, right? And then we had to wait over a year to get it because
something like that,
because they like to do the Netflix style of things where they just drop everything at once, right?
Yeah.
So as opposed to shit is airing in Japan, shit is being simulcasted here in the United States. We're not getting that shit till it's all done, and it blows my fucking mind.
Right now, there's a show that's airing in Japan called Kakegurui XX. It's the second season of a show that was on Netflix. And they picked it up and people freaked out. They're like, holy fuck, Netflix finally is putting it out. I'm so goddamn stoked. I've been waiting 8 months for this. And now that this show is airing in Japan right now, everyone's like, okay, we've seen the first season. We know Netflix has it, but we can't watch it and we don't know what to do.
Yeah, it's fucking bullshit.
But in like, I don't remember if it's Australia or Canada or where, but Netflix actually does do episodic.
Oh yeah, it's like they're testing it out in different regions before they start in the United States. Fuck you guys, give me my shit. I want it now.
Well, no, that's the thing that I noticed when I started doing my research. Like when I was working with like the anime client that I did at my job, was that a huge portion of their viewership was VPNing in from other parts of the world. Huge.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And I was like, oh my god, like this is really interesting. Like, is this a thing? And they were like, oh, that kind of makes sense because of the way the anime works. And I was like, what? Like, what? Just like give them the shows. Give me Mob. Give it to me. Yeah. I want it.
Yeah. I don't understand why that has to be like. There are so many finite elements of this. Yeah, it's insane. And back in the day, there used to be a black market of anime where you would just make a copy of a show, and then people would make copies, and they'd be like, hey, do not make copies of this. This shit is for only trade. And they would just trade anime shows and like laser discs and stuff. It was crazy.
Did you say laser discs?
Yeah, I sure did. This is back in the day. Like
this used to be the anime fucking how you would watch it. You would find a group of people and you would meet up
in a basement.
Yeah, you would meet up, bring your box of anime because everyone had their fucking anime box, and you would trade. And you weren't allowed to like sell things. There were really weird rules to certain stuff, and you would just have to record it, and you would have to get it from like overseas and have weird connections.
Yeah, now things have
God
changed.
Bless the internet.
I know. So now in this day and age, where even with Crunchyroll, you know, they're licensing, they're making stuff, they're doing little things here and there. They have so much fucking anime that's where you have to go. That's
but like, honestly, as like, I would say I'm an anime fan. I'm not like an anime fan. Like I'm like, I did do cosplay once as like Attack on Titan. So I'm like, I feel like I fit in. But I feel like I belong. But like Crunchyroll doesn't give a fuck about its fans. They don't.
Oh no,
they don't. And like, most of the other companies in the anime industry in the US, they might have people at the company who care about the fans, but like overall, they just don't give a fuck. And like, it's so crazy to me because anime is kind of like comic books where like Marvel is like interesting to me where I'm like, Marvel seems to care about the fans. They seem to. I don't know if they do, but they seem to. But they like also have a bajillion dollar powerhouse, right? Like DC, I'm like, I don't know. Zack Snyder, do you care about us? I'm like, really? I don't know. But like anime companies in the US, I'm like, guys, like honestly, you have a cash cow. All you have to do is give them what they want, and if they don't want it, give it to them anyways because they're going to talk about it a bunch. They'll eat it up.
Yeah. And I mean. I used to download everything. I downloaded so much fucking anime illegally, and then as soon as I had money, I was like, "I'm going to buy these shows. I have to. I'm going to support it. Yeah. I got to do that. The shows that I will buy."
I always do that. I always watch movies illegally from Marvel, and then I go buy 2 tickets if I see it by myself. The 1 ticket to pay for the illegal download, and then the 1 ticket that I saw it for, and people are like, "That's crazy," and I'm like, "It's because I'm supporting the industry."
Hell yeah. But no, that's the way it is now too with even with all these streaming sites and whatnot. It's something that I often forget about, but shows that I really fucking love, I'll go out and buy it.
Yeah.
And also for manga,
do you buy it?
You know? On Amazon usually.
Yeah, it's like you go out. You said go out, and I was like,
wait, he goes to his grocery store. He gets his fucking, it's
Walmart.
food.
I go out. It's 2:30 at work. I don't know. Somebody's taking a phone call that I don't want any part of, and then I pop open Amazon Prime and boom.
Where do you work? Like, where are you working now? Like,
I'm working at some apartments.
Okay.
He works there's a Starbucks in the apartments. He just sells Starbucks out.
No, I'm an assistant manager at these apartments, so a lot of my job is by the phone call. Yeah.
So you're like a pimp or something, like you.
Yeah.
Is it at the Matador?
Yeah, it's the Matador. No,
it is the Matador. It's right next to Starbucks.
It's actually one of the nicest apartments in Chico.
No big deal, Duncan.
It won't be named, but you know.
Like remove me. I'm removing my monocle. And he's no longer.
Yeah. I also used to manage Courtney's old apartments, which were Pine Tree Apartments.
Okay, I'm not hating. I'm not fronting. As a friend, I was like, I didn't actually know because I knew you were doing a podcast.
Totally.
The last time I saw you, you were rocking a press pass, and I was like, oh hey, what's up, man? You're like dressed as Ash Ketchum, and you're so fun to hug. So I was like, I was just curious as a friend. I'm sorry.
Honestly, that
wasn't me fronting.
No. We're all good. I like hugging.
We have beef.
So let's just fucking wrap this shit up. Yeah, I think
it's about time. I think we've talked about Mob enough. We're talking about the anime industry now.
Yeah, which is something we should have talked about earlier.
Really intriguing episode, though. I feel like we covered a lot of cool stuff, and we had a lot of interesting things going on that we wouldn't have had without you, Duncan.
Yeah. Sorry.
Great input. Thank you.
Thank you, Duncan. Thank you for being so enthusiastic. So all in all, guys, if you haven't seen Mob Psycho season 1, watch it. Right?
Definitely check it out.
Season 2 is wrapping up right now.
Season 2, we've got a few more episodes left.
Yeah,
season 2 is almost over.
I don't know how many more episodes you guys.
It's usually, I think it's 12, right? It's not too core, right?
It's usually 12.
3 more.
Something like that, yeah.
Two more after the next one that aired today.
Yeah, so we're getting really close to it ending, and obviously because we're kind of with it, we know that there's for sure a lot more story to be told. So I'm if I haven't said it yet, season 3 is for sure going to come out someday.
Season 3 is going to be dope.
Whenever that happens.
Okay. That and Neverland. That's what those are my
Promise Neverland's really good show.
And then I got Violet Evergarden.
Yeah.
Rascal Does Not Dream.
Bunny Girl Senpai, yeah.
Okay. Pokemon Origins.
Oh, yeah.
And then Chris Doesn't Know Name, Pokemon Shorts, parts.
It's just on YouTube.
It's on YouTube. It's on the Pokemon YouTube.
Those are my notes. I'll listen to the podcast. I'll take
you said Erased, right?
You better say Erased.
Oh, Erased.
That's the most important one.
Well, you said that before I started taking notes.
And the last one, I don't know if you got it, you should watch Anohana also.
Oh, shit.
That'll fuck your shit up, Duncan.
But in like the best way. Do not watch the fucking last episode. I'll shoot myself if you do. Jesus Christ.
Duncan, watch it right. Okay, or don't watch it at all.
So first and second to last episode on Anohana. I'm sorry, I can't help it. I do it all the time.
It's a filthy habit, man. You need to get out of it.
Can I do it with Erased?
No, I fucking can't do with any of these. Watch them the normal way. None of them are. All of these are really like normal size. Like they're like.
Actually, you could do it with Bunny Girl Senpai if you want. That's totally fine.
It's not gonna ruin anything.
That one's just a character show.
I'm gonna put a check mark next to that one.
God damn it, Duncan!
Wait, Pokemon. You can do it with Pokemon. That's also fine. You get the okay from Chris.
I'm sorry. I don't know why I do it. I've just been doing it since I was a kid. I do it all the time.
Yeah, you've always been a monster. That's fine.
Yeah, each time somebody does that, it like hurts me.
It's like, why would you do that? Why wouldn't you just watch the whole thing?
But I worked so hard on watching all of it.
I watched the first and the last episode like a normal person,
I
right?
envisioned you sitting in your like bedroom and just feeling like all of a sudden uncomfortable, Chris, and being like, I don't know why. And you're like, oh, Duncan watched the last episode.
That's exactly what happened.
You got this bad taste in your mouth, like, gross. It's Duncan fucking shit up.
So anyways, if you listen to the beginning of the episode, now we're at the end.
Yeah.
And
go back to the beginning, though.
Let's close it up.
Yeah, go back to the beginning. Listen to it, then come back.
Hey, so Duncan, before we go, is there anything you'd like to plug? Like maybe like your... I don't know, your podcast, what it's called, if people are interested in it, or people can follow you on Instagram or Twitter.
What's going on, man?
So, my like biggest plug would be like my Twitter, and it's going to sound weird, but like I'm starting a Twitch channel, and it's in the beginning stages. I'm really excited just about learning about Twitch. I'm very new and curious about how it works. It's a big part of the industry that I work in.
The boy Twitch and the girl Twitch fall in love and they kiss and then they make baby Twitches, right? That's how it works.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, what's the verb for twitching? Is it twitching or is it just I twitched? I twitch.
Anyway,
stream.
You
stream on Twitch.
Yeah, I stream. That's what I figured. Yeah, so you can find me anywhere at Duncan and stuff. And I would love to. I love trolls. So if you have them out there who are like, "Yo, Mob Psycho sucks," like and dubbed and
yeah, we don't have those.
I welcome people coming at me and saying.
I don't think anybody feels that way either. I don't think anybody's just like, "Yeah, Mob Psycho is trash." They all love it. Like,
people who think that, I will go toe to toe with somebody who says that.
Pretty much every episode, I come out saying like, yeah, let us know if you liked it. Let us know if you hated it. Tell us why you did. Like, talk shit.
No one hates it.
No one does.
Yeah, nobody hates it. All right, well then tell me why you love it. I love it. Duncan and stuff though. That's where you can find me anywhere, like Instagram, Facebook. I have it all essentially because I work in social media. But I don't do the podcast anymore just because I'm like too fucking busy. That's why I wanted to be on this podcast. I was like, you guys have a fun podcast. I want to know when you're going to do the Wings Challenge though.
They did it. They did it. I didn't do it. I was fucking busy.
Yeah, Juan. Like Juan.
Oh, when am I doing it?
He's gonna. Yeah,
fucking whenever.
That story about your dad making you eat the pepper made me so sad.
Shit! Oh yeah, I was like, talk about that, didn't we? My dad's a bad man.
But no, yeah, Duncan and stuff is where you can find me, and like I love anime. So any of your fans who like want to tell you what I should watch, Chris, you should send it to me and tell me.
For sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
Cool, Duncan. Thanks for hanging out with us and talking with us. And maybe in the future we'll have you for another show. Maybe Mob Psycho Season 3 or Akira. Or
after I watch
or whatever.
Erased all the episodes.
We can't. We've done Erased. We fucking go listen to the podcast. We'll spoil it for you.
We've done Erased how many times now?
Like 4 times.
Okay, fine. I'll watch. Well, then send me a new one. I don't know.
Duncan, all the shows we gave you, we've talked about because we know.
Okay, well then send me something you haven't, and I'll watch.
We pretty much just if there's a new movie out that we're gonna watch, that's pretty much our new episodes.
Yeah. Well, or when you're in LA going to an anime event.
Oh yeah, we are going to
there in Los Angeles, July 3rd. We should be getting in.
Yeah, we should meet up. Duncan, it'd be fun.
Do you need a place to stay? All right, we'll talk about that later.
Yeah, just give us your address on the fucking podcast.
Yeah, my social security number is.
All right, man.
Yeah. For sure. Yeah, it was good hanging out, guys. This is really fun.
Well, just hang out for a bit, Duncan. We're going to do the outro. Just mute your mic, and we're just going to finish this bitch up, yeah?
All right. Yeah.
Cool. Give us a sec. Okay. Cool. So, hey, that's the episode.
Thank you so much for listening.
That was Duncan. He's our friend, I guess.
Yes.
Okay, fine.
Okay.
So that was a show. Next week, we actually don't know what we're talking about just yet. But
we have a couple of ideas.
Yeah, but we're not going to tell you because go fuck yourself.
That's true.
So if you like our logo, hit up Erin from TurbyTops.com. She's a super great person to work with. If you like our theme song, check out Tom Nasser. He's on SoundCloud and YouTube. Trip, where can people find us?
You can find us on Facebook. Look up the Instagram Podcast. Same thing goes for Instagram. Look up the Instagram Podcast. If you want to tweet at us, tweet at InstaRamenPod.
Podcast Benefit.
And you could shoot us an email. Tell us what you thought about Duncan. And that's InstaRamenPodcast@gmail.com. That's where you can find us. Thank you guys.
Yeah, if you want to know more about Duncan, send us an email, and then when we get his address, we'll give you his address. You can go find him in LA.
It's perfect.
Anyways, this is Black from Juan.
I'll see you around from Chris.
Hey, Trip, don't forget.
Just add hot water.